Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is a story about what if Naruto hides his skills chunin exam Sasuke bashing. Before I start, please support for more amazing content and do consider subscribing to my channel and share this video with your friends. This is written by Shadowblaze Mediator and link in the description and support writer. Let's start the video. Chapter 1. Naruto, Sasuke and Sakura just got saved by Kakashi against the demon brothers. Yo. Kakashi said, looking lazy. Sensei, don't scare us like that. Sakura screeched. Naruto flinched a bit before walking over towards a tree and sitting down. Sakura, I'd calm down if I were you. This has just gone from bad to worse and we don't need your screeching right now. Naruto said, oddly calm. He had a hand out, palm up, fingers outstretched. A flame appeared on the tips of each of his fingers. Sensei, why don't you find out why Tazuna lied about the mission? I'll see if I can't call an old friend for some backup. What are you talking about, dope? Sasuke asked, annoyed. Someone that would likely make you piss your pants in fear if he ever showed his full strength. Naruto stated as the flames grew. He then pressed his fingertips together and made a giant skinny flame. He opened his hand quickly and it became a deep blue fire with a few traces of lightning in it, though Kakashi was the only one to notice. Please, don't ask me questions until after I'm done with contacting him. Kakashi looked at him and saw something he never thought he'd see in Naruto. He was serious. Naruto is never serious. Everyone knows this. Either this is a fake or everyone that seems to know him is wrong. Kakashi thought. Who are you and what have you done with the dope? Sasuke questioned, his eyes hard. A face appeared in the flame. Hey Gonta. Where are you right now? Naruto asked. I'm on my way to Wave Country and currently passing through Fire Country. Why? Well, I'm on a C rank that just got elevated to B rank. Possibility of it going A rank is present. Naruto said. No one else understood why he said that. Ironically, our client is from Wave Country and is building a bridge. Why is that ironic? Kakashi ended up asking. Well, shit. Where are you right now? I'm coming along as my target was last seen in Wave Country. Who's your current target, then? Naruto asked. Everyone else was confused as they didn't hear anything Gonta was saying. Zabuza Mamachi, demon of the hidden mist. A rank rogue and former member of the 7 ninja swordsmen of the mist. My guess is, if it elevates to A rank, he's the reason. Wait, you're in range. Give me 3 seconds and I'll be there. True enough, 3 seconds after he finished, a male appeared. He was wearing a dark blue, almost black, sweatsuit that seemed to be made of spandex. Then there was the vest, which looked eerily similar to Saiyan armor, but in much darker colors. The only other thing they noticed, aside from the head, was a dark gray cloak. His hair was a dark red color and his eyes looked a more brown color. There were also 2 swords on his back, but they were both sheathed over his shoulders. Kakashi was instantly on guard, as was Sasuke. Relax guys, he's good. Naruto stated. I didn't think you'd get this close this quickly. I mean, we're good 2 hours out for Shinobi. Did you forget how quickly I can go when needed? The man asked before looking at Kakashi. Kakashi Haddock. A rank Konoha Shinobi. He looked back at Naruto. You made Genin and landed him as a sensei. Yeah, but he hasn't taught me anything but team exercises. Naruto replied. This team never seems to work like it should. I happen to agree. Naruto stated. Unless the situation calls for it, teamwork is non-existent. This surprised Kakashi. First off, we have an arrogant asshole who think that he's above everyone else because of his clan. Then we have a fangirl that does nothing and only made it by thanks to her skill in academics. Then there's me. This isn't a team and it certainly doesn't act like it unless something like the demon brothers show up to face us. Gonta looked around. Hamanichiha, Haruno, Kakashi himself, and then someone I've trained since he was nearly 8. Yeah, most of you won't do much good here. You downplaying this squad? Kakashi asked, his voice serious. Not entirely. When you think about it, the Uchiha won't work with anyone. He's giving off an arrogant vibe. The girl, which I can easily assume is a Haruno, is weak physically and doesn't bother to train physically. Sasuke and Sakura bristled at this comment. In fact, the only ones among you 4 that could handle this happens to be Naruto and you, Kakashi. The dope of our class. He can't be better than me. Sasuke shouted. Gonta raised an eyebrow. You graduated at the bottom didn't you? Hey. You said to hide any and all skills that weren't needed. Besides, I graduated after flushing out a chunin level trader. I've been playing the fool all throughout the academy and even into my genin days, which is only about a month at this point. I've done everything just how they expected me to from our days in the academy. They have no idea how powerful I truly am and all my true training goes on in 2 places. Really? And how far are you with the Master Seal? Gonta asked. Currently? 42. Naruto replied. Gonta whistled. That's at least 200x for the gravity seal, 800 pounds for the weight seals, 42 for the resistance seals, and 42 for the suppression seals. Impressive. Then again, I expected you to be at least at level 60 by now. What? Did Kurama hold you back for longer than you should have? Only until I could use one tail without losing control of myself. Then I level up. Naruto stated, shrugging. I was closing in on level 43 before I went for this mission, and I've been using a shadow clone for the D ranks while I train on my own in Makai. It's better for me to train there than in the village. Which section? Hit soon. Good. Naruto. Explain. Kakashi ordered. I've been training on my own for years in things you'd never be able to comprehend. And why is it that you've never showed any of it off? Kakashi asked. There's a saying in Makai about those that come here. A dumb demon that hides his true skill lives longer than a smart demon that flaunts it like it was everything. So basically, I've been playing the fool for those that weren't smart enough to notice. Besides, you know the council. What would happen if I got too powerful for them? Kakashi's lone eye widened in realization. You mean? Yes. It was for my own survival. They'd call for my execution if I were too powerful for them or if I could annihilate them within 3 seconds. Naruto stated evenly. And you know full well why. Unfortunately, Sasuke and Sakura aren't in the loop and neither is our client. The law prevents it from being let out, you know. That's the only reason they don't know and I'd very much like to keep it that way. Kakashi then understood everything. So, you only hid your skill to avoid the council calling your execution. That and the fact that if I wanted to turn on the village they likely wouldn't stand much of a chance. I mean, come on. I outran Anbu as an academy student with myself restricted to the max. What does that tell you? Naruto retorted. Anyway, it was better for me to hide what I could truly do and live another day than go all out and possibly kill anyone that got in my path. Civilians included. Anta nodded at that. You've grown a lot since I first met you. I'm kind of glad for that, you know. I'm glad that I took your advice regarding shadow clones and bandit camps. That helped with real-time experience. Anta looked at him and nodded. For the remainder of this mission, release restraint will be needed. Especially if my target is still in wave. Yeah. Besides, this is only the 3rd time we've worked together and the first we've done so against ninja. Right, White Devil. Exactly, Shadow Fox. Gonta replied. Wait. Did you just call him White Devil? Kakashi asked, thoroughly surprised. What of it? Naruto asked. It's a name I came up with for him and Shadow Fox is what he calls me in the field anyway. It was better that way since no one should have known I was out there doing shit that I probably shouldn't have been, but when was I ever one to follow the rules? Kakashi took notice of the statement and nodded in agreement. You know, that's probably the only thing that both sides have in common, isn't it? But still the White Devil himself trained you. You sound like you're surprised. Gonta stated. Well, yeah, I'm surprised. No one knows where you come from and anyone that has tried finding you ends up dead with their own bounty cashed in or their head is sent back to their village. Yeah, I know. Gonta waved him off. Then again you got a bingo book on you. I picked one up a week before I graduated from a bandit camp. Naruto admitted before pulling it out. Why? Look in the SS class section. Gonta stated. Naruto did so and found him in there, but the picture was nothing more than a silhouette of him with his cloak on. See how many I've defeated. Naruto looked at the list and whistled. Someone's been busy. Gotta make a living somehow, am I right? Gonta shrugged. True. Naruto put it up. Still, I didn't check it that far. Flee on sight, though. Well, I can't help it if I can't keep my targets alive for too long. After they wake up, I can either sedate them or kill them. After 3 times, I kill them because they all are annoying as hell. Gonta replied. Iwa has only put out 2 flee on site orders and the other was the Yondaime Hokage. Damn. Naruto replied. And Kushina had a flee on site order from Suna along with a kill on site order from Iwa, Kumo, and Kiri. That's fucked up. Naruto stated. Tell me about it. You two are obviously close, but I'm sorry, I can't risk my team on this mission. Kakashi stated. You didn't ask why he lied about the mission, did you? Naruto asked. Kakashi's sweat dropped. Izuna, right? Gonta asked, earning a nod. Well, if I'm correct, Gato is in wave. Last island he took control of lost all of its resources. After Yuzushi Agakure was destroyed, he went there and bankrupted it. If he's in wave, he's bound to be doing the same thing there. Izuna nodded. I'm sorry I lied but. And that's why that, regardless of them coming or not, I'll be going. Gonta stated. And Naruto? You're coming with? Like I would leave a village that is on the verge of self-destruction when I know I can help. But if my team isn't coming, I'm not going as Naruto, but Shadow Fox. Heh, if the dobe's in, so am I, Sasuke stated. But Sasuke. But nothing. Sasuke shot at Sakura. I can't let a clanless loser outdo me. Even when both of my clans are dead and have been since the day I was born. Naruto retorted. Because, correct me if I'm wrong, Gonta, the Uzumaki clan was supposedly eradicated by Iwa, Kumo and Kiri nearly 30 years ago. A little over 20 years before I was born. Even then, it took, what? 2 months to take out any of them? Records state that it took 3 months, 2 weeks, and 2 days before they actually got rid of most of them. Kushina was one of the last ones, and she was your mother, after all. Gonta stated. And then my other clan. No records on Namikaze anywhere. Gonta cut him off. Unfortunately, I've looked for anything indicating them and found nothing. Last known was your father. Damn. And he died against the Kyuubi. Naruto said. How do you even have parents? You're an orphan. Sakura shouted. Gonta sighed. Just because he has no parents now doesn't mean he never did. Hell, he had them for I'd say a few hours at most. Lost his mother right after childbirth and father died against Kyuubi. Or are you so stupid you can't see that? She's got a brain, Gonta. Naruto stated. She just has no common sense or sense of a true kunoichi. Oh yeah. I remember seeing myself in the A rank section of the same bingo book. Mainly due to the crime lords I've brought in during my bandit camp raids and always under the name Shadow Fox. Outfit and everything. I noticed. Gonta stated. Looks like we're continuing. Kakashi stated. However, I expect to see what you can truly do during the course of the mission. Gonta and Naruto shrugged. The release restraint was called for. Luckily, I've trained for this with and without the need for it. Mainly so I don't have any problems with the mass adjustments. Naruto replied. Although, I've only done that in Makai. Gonta smirked at that. Let's set up camp. It's gotten late, so it's best if we rest up until morning. Naruto made a few shadow clones and had them set up the tents while the original stuck with Gonta. Sasuke lit the fire after Sakura gathered some logs for the fire. Kakashi and Tazuna were talking. Sasuke then walked up to Gonta. Train me. Sorry, I don't train arrogant assholes and you give off the aura of one. Lose the arrogance and sense of superiority. Then we'll talk. Gonta stated. I will only say this once. Power isn't deserved. It isn't given at birth, regardless of what people think. A name has no true strength. It is the person that has it and humanity has lost all sense of that fact. Power can only be gained through hard work. There are no shortcuts to strength or power. Gonta stated. Naruto glared at Sasuke. If you think about demanding training from him, you'll end up in the ditch. The village has no hold over him for several reasons. For one, he's not aligned with any village, civilian or shinobi. Second, he trains people he deems worthy. I know what he looks for. You have none of the things on that list from what I've seen of you. Sakura noticed the exchange and almost went berserk. What stopped her from doing so is Naruto's glare. It wasn't his blue eyes, but blood-red eyes with a black slit. She visibly recoiled at that. If you so much as say that he deserves it when it's the choice of the teacher, then you're as good as dead. I'm only teaching those I deem worthy. He only teaches those he deems worthy. Our standards are basically the same, but the levels in mine are higher than his, and so are the penalties for breaking the rules laid out. Gonta smiled at Naruto. Taking my teachings to heart, Naruto. Of course I am. I'd be a fool not to. After all, I've found that I can only get stronger with those ideals, and it's a lot better than going with his ideals, which are focused around revenge. Naruto stated. And you really think I wouldn't teach him? Without a doubt. Everything I've seen out of him is about gaining power to kill his brother. Naruto stated, shocking Sasuke. If I were the same idiot they thought I was, I would have tried filling that spot instead of the one that had it by blood. However, that was before I found out just what happened that night and the truth behind the whole matter. Where did you find out? Kitsune Realm, of course. Naruto replied. They were celebrating it because they actually hate the Uchiha clan for what they always did to their kind, along with Kurama. When I asked why they died that night, well, what I found out was both expected of them and made me feel a little better because Kurama was safer. Thing is, there are 3 Uchiha left. One caused the Kyuubi attack, one performed the massacre on orders, and the last one is a survivor of said massacre. Sasuke went pale. You're lying. There's only 2 left. Naruto glared at Sasuke. If by 2 you mean those that have activated the Mangekyo level, then yes. You haven't even activated your Sharingan yet. Itachi has the Mangekyo. And the last one has the Eternal Mangekyo. The Kitsune clan have been keeping tabs on anyone with a Sharingan, and last week, 2 had it active, and 1 has the potential to activate it. He's right. I've only encountered the 3rd one once, and he had outmaneuvered me during that time. This is not without consequence, however. He had lost his left eye during the confrontation. Gonta stated. He now wears an orange spiral mask with one hole allowing him to see through with his only working eye. Naruto caught it being a lie, but didn't comment. Sasuke, on the other hand, bristled at the insult. Whatever. You obviously can't handle yourself with the eternal Mangekyo Sharingan. Gonta cut him off. I know how the Mangekyo Sharingan works. Itachi can't beat me. The eternal Mangekyo, however, I have very little knowledge of. For a first encounter with the eternal Mangekyo, that is far better than most can claim. Going up against something you have little to no knowledge of, survival rate is low, if I remember correctly. Naruto stated, earning a nod from Gonta. Kakashi noticed most of what they were saying and sighed. Gonta, do you mind if I talk to you, alone? Gonta sighed and got up. Fine. But if I feel like blowing you off, I will. They both disappeared from the genin sight, but not Naruto's senses. Forest clearing. Kakashi and Gonta were in the center of the clearing. What is it that you want? I'm only here for Naruto's sake. That's just it. Why hasn't anyone heard about you and him partnering up with anyone? If you're talking about the relationship between us, that's his story to tell. Frankly, I have no desire to join up with you, but since he is around, I will partner with him. That is all. My current target is in Wave Country anyway. That brings my next question. Who is your target? Zabuza Mamachi. My sources, which ironically are the same as Naruto's, have stated that Zabuza entered Wave Country a few days back. I was passing through Fire Country to get there from Wind Country. An air rank rogue. You seriously think those genin can handle that? Kakashi accused. If Naruto doesn't hold back, then he and I can take him no problem. I was originally intending to take him down myself, so you know. The fact that Naruto is already classified as an A-class shinobi himself in the bingo books doesn't do him much justice. I've trained him for years and know he's capable. The way I see it, you, me and Naruto are the only ones that can handle him. Naruto, if you haven't found out by now, has already made his first kill. What exactly does his training entail? Mostly control, manipulation, and a few jutsu I think he could learn, and I know the concept behind. I had him learn element jutsu without hand signs, through pure manipulation. I give him the description of a few jutsu in any given element and he has to be able to use them to their full effect without hand signs. I had also trained him a bit in kinjutsu, if you're wondering. He doesn't have a sword of his own, to my knowledge. His taijutsu and kinjutsu styles are his own. I gave him basics and he worked from there. And you think that actually works? Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Gonta replied. It makes him more efficient at the jutsu because it allows him to know how the jutsu works inside and out. There are only 2 ninjutsu I have actively trained him in, and one of those 2 has been marked do not use until he goes for his first chunin exams. The other is when he has a jounin sensei or he somehow gets his hands on a scroll with it in there. Which one is for the chunin exams? I am not at liberty to say, since you would not believe I knew how it works if I did. It is an A rank and rare, as few knew how to use it properly. And the other? He used it to set up the camp. I taught it to him when he was 9. Gonta replied. My only guess is he has met the requirement for it. However, I have trained him in a massively unknown element. It's the reason he is called Shadow Fox. You trained him to use the yin element. No, I trained him to use void. It is something he gets because of the Kyuubi, who has a name. When I can't help him out, he can. After seeing what I can do, he is a lot more helpful. Do you know how dangerous it is? Yes, I do. Gonta cut him off. In fact, I'm the reason he's even bothering to cooperate at all. Kakashi leveled a glare at him. How? Well, this is how it went. Flashback. Naruto and Gonta met up in the Kitsune realm. Alright, what are we learning today? Naruto asked. I believe it's time for you to learn of what you have within. What I have? Naruto asked. What do you mean? I have taught you meditation for finding things far out of your usual range. Now, you need to use it to see inside of yourself. Gonta stated. I shall be going with you when you make it there. Wherever you end up is your mindscape. Naruto raised an eyebrow, but nodded. He had realized that Gonta never told him to do anything without reason. After a few minutes he found himself in a sewer. He saw Gonta come in through a glow. Sensei. Told you, I'd come. Gonta stated. Unfortunately, this is your mind. There is a power in here that is not yours. Head to it and I will follow. Why do I need to lead? It's your mind. My sense of direction is useless here. Gonta admitted. They walked for a bit and found themselves in front of a gate. Gonta knew immediately what this was and who was behind it. Yo. Fox. Wake the fuck up. The crimson eye opened. Quiet down. Some of us are trying to sleep here. After a few seconds, both eyes snapped open. How the fuck did you get in here without me noticing? Because I meant no harm to his state of mind, so you had written me off as nothing. Gonta stated. There's a reason I'm here, though. What do you mean? Naruto asked. First off, I believe he should know the truth of the night he was born. Unfortunately, I am not allowed to say anything, as I, technically, wasn't there. Hell, I wasn't even in the elemental countries once at that point. So, you came here, knowing I was here, but not willing to explain what you knew. The reason being, you were there. I wasn't. Better to hear from someone who was there than from rumors or second-hand sources. And you really think I'll just say it? Well, there's more to it than that. Gonta stated. I also came with a deal, Kurama. Kyuubi was silent. Go on. I know you don't want your container to be weak. That's a given. So instead of calling him weak and not bothering to do anything, why not train him yourself? It's obvious that his village won't do a damn thing but stunt his progress. And what do I get out of this? Well, first off, a stronger container. Second, I know of several ways for you to have your own body. I simply lack the means to do so myself. When the time comes, I'd be giving the information to him and he'd do so. What good would that do? Some may or may not work. That is the only problem with them, but there are several. However, at that point, he would easily be able to control all 9 taels worth of your chakra, has reached SSS class shinobi status, whereas his father was only SS class. When he is good enough to be your successor, then he will get them. Between now and then, I will also be gathering the information I'd need on a few of them. And I can teach him what I wish. As long as it doesn't clash with the few things I'd be teaching him, yes. Though, there are only 2 that I can think of right now and could teach him here and now. Kurama was silent for a bit. How about this? I train him to my specifications and you add on to what I give him. However, you give him basics and I help him improve on them. Gonta looked at him and sighed. The only thing that I would want no interference in is the Rasengan. Everything else will be a collaboration, or just you. Unfortunately, I am not that proficient in ninjutsu, even though I know what to accomplish. Then how do you know they work? Knowing something and having the ability to perform it are 2 completely different things. One of the things he should learn is how to use jutsu without hand signs. There is only one that I think we can forego for that. The mass shadow clone technique. Mass shadow clone? Naruto questioned. And why are you discussing my training? Well, I must say I'm impressed. Kurama, the Kyuubi, stated. I'm in. However, once he is up to snuff, he will become a kitsune himself. Explain. I will train him, but not just in the shinobi arts. You have proven your knowledge to be worthwhile, while your ninjutsu and jinjutsu ability lacks. However, what you lack is easily covered up by what you have. When he is ready, I will let him know and he will take my place and I will leave him be. And what will become of you? Naruto asked. It will not matter at that point. I will have no further purpose and thus, I will wither and die, or you could release me. At that point, the choice is yours. Should you choose to release me, I am free to do as I please. If I stay, you will have to put up with me until I wither away. If I die, you won't. If you die, I will. Weird aspect of the seal. Gonta stated. Am I to assume it binds your soul to his, but not the other way around? That is how it seems. Just then, a man that looked like an older Naruto appeared. Who are you, and what are you doing here? Minato Namikaze. Gonta stated. You are here to prevent him from being released, correct? How did you? I know more than I let on. I believe you sealed part of your chakra and Kushina's as well, correct? No one knew about that. Wait. You sealed him inside of me? Naruto asked. Why? Minato looked at Naruto. You know who I am, correct? Naruto nodded. Do you think I would ask someone else to do something that I wouldn't do myself? Naruto looked at him. Gonta sighed. The village didn't honor your last wish. They see him as a demon that should have been killed instead of reborn. They did what? Minato shouted. He looked at Naruto and then at Kurama. He turned back to Gonta. How do you know this? The Sandaime was reinstated after your death and the civilian council rose in power. He can't eat anywhere but one place in the village and shops either overcharge him or don't even let him in. This is only going off of what I can tell for sure, so that's probably sugarcoating it. The only ones that are even close to being nice to me are Hokage Jiji and the guys at Ichiraku's ramen. Naruto said, his voice low. I think they know, but they don't seem to care about that, unlike anyone else. Minato was livid and Naruto, Gonta and Kurama could feel the killing intent. Kai, he admitted. I should have let them burn to the ground. I should have listened to Kushina. They would never honor my wish and I didn't listen. Wow. I didn't think he'd agree with me there. Minato looked at Kurama. Shut it, Fox. Minato, you're still pissed off. Gonta stated. Just tell us where you would have put access to your clan jutsu, original jutsu, and anything his mother would have hidden. Wait, he's my father? I thought that was obvious with what he said about not doing anything he wouldn't do. Gonta stated. Naruto absorbed this for a minute. So you used your own son to house a demon that was on a rampage. And it's something I regret doing either way. Minato stated. 3 kilometers to the southwest of Training Ground 44. There's a space-time barrier that only one of my kin can go into. Kushina and I are the only ones that know of its existence. Saratobi only had a scroll with a blood seal that houses your inheritance. That was what I told him. That was only a partial lie. It only gives directions to the real inheritance. It was to be given to you under one of 3 conditions. 1. Godame is named. 2. You reach Chunin rank. 3. You are 18 years old. But wait. I don't fall under any of them. Naruto stated. What they don't know won't hurt them. If anyone asks, say you came across it on accident, but if no one asks, don't say a word on it. The fact that you didn't know I was your father means that no one knew or there was a law placed that forbid it from being said to anyone. Wait. Is there a complete autobiography of you anywhere? Complete. Not likely. Autobiography? No. Biography? It's possible. Minato admitted. If you come across Jiraiya of the Sannin, and so you know, he's a massive pervert, ask him for his first book. It's titled Tale of a Gutsy Shinobi, you got your name from it, for one. The other reason I say this, if you want to know anything about me, you'll need to see what the main character acts like. That's what I was like most of the time. On the battlefield, I could be ruthless and was easily feared by my enemies. At home, I was compassionate and caring. The Naruto in that book was basically the same way, with one difference. He didn't kill without good reason. Well, I'm training to be a ninja myself. Gonta here is helping me. Is he now? I wouldn't be around all the time. I have no wish to work under the Hokage at this point. At the moment, I am nothing more than a traveling warrior that knows a lot of things I shouldn't. Where I'm from, ninja do not use ninjutsu or jinjutsu. We relied on weaponry and stealth. However, I am familiar with ninja and taijutsu. In jutsu and taijutsu I have a good idea to train him for that, however, the style he will use will be of his own making. It would take years to pull this off, so I was going to teach him the mass shadow clone jutsu. You do realize that it's a kinjutsu, correct? And he's a jinchuriki. One of the reasons it is labeled kinjutsu is because of the chakra cost, correct? Minato nodded at that. The only other reason is because of the mental strain from the memory transfer ability, correct? He nodded again. Being a jinchuriki has the chakra cost down. But what do you plan on doing about the mental strain? Minato asked. Same way he got here. Meditation. Gonta replied. If he is unconscious, it will allow him to absorb information a lot easier, along with sort through it. Not to mention the fact I'll be helping. Minato thought for a second and nodded. Alright, I'll allow it. However, there is a limit to what that can entail. I know this, and we will find out that limit throughout training. Rasengan, and yes, I know how to perform it, and Mass Shadow Clone Jutsu are the only 2 I'll be teaching him directly, as I know the full aspects of learning them. I don't remember showing you. You didn't have to. In fact, you and I have never met. I just know how it works. Prove it. First thing you need is rotation. It has to be in several directions and go extremely fast. The second thing you need is power, and a lot of it. The final piece you need is containment and control. Gonta stated. The end result is a small ball in the palm of your hand that looks a lot more like a miniature hurricane contained in a sphere. All points correct. Minato stated. Get him to learn how to use it with one hand. I know there are other ways, but that's taking a shortcut. Oh, I know that. However, even after mastering water walking, I highly doubt that he could do it like that. It's a matter of control. I have several ideas to compensate that little problem, so he would be able to get there eventually. Like what? For starters, the waterfall climbing. Then there's elemental training, which he'd be getting through learning jutsu without hand signs. Hand signs are merely a shortcut for jutsu, after all. Fire, wind and water are the main jutsu he is likely to learn. I will also be teaching him from my own elements. This includes the void element. It's not one that can be inherited through blood usually, as anyone can grasp the concept. However, since he will one day become my successor, as per our deal, it will pass through like a bloodline, but only after I am gone. Naruto, Minato, and Gonta looked at him. They all nodded. I think we can all agree on that. Minato stated. Make sure no one else knows about this, though. They all nodded. Flashback, Kai. And that's it. Gonta stated. He left out the parts that weren't supposed to get out, but gave enough. Any jutsu he knows, he would know how to perform without hand signs, aside from the shadow clone jutsu. And this is only to my knowledge. In regards to jinjutsu, I have no idea how far he progressed. He doesn't use them often. Oh really? Kakashi asked. If you want to know anything else about his abilities, that is for you to ask him. I managed to get Kurama to cooperate. Don't fuck it up, and no one is to know. Gonta stated, his voice stern. Kakashi sighed. Fine. But where is his control level? Surely, you can give that. Last time I saw him it was near perfect. Ask him for a time frame. I move too often to keep track. His full set of abilities, even I am not aware of them. Kakashi nodded at that. I guess that's all I'm gonna get out of you. However, I will need to let the Hokage know that he has made contact with the Kyuubi. I'll leave out the name, though. Keep that one on the down low. Just play the name Kurama as a friend of yours, and you're good. Not a lie, either. Kurama is a bit of a friend to both of us. Gonta stated. Let's head back. Nothing else to talk about, after all. They went back to the camp. What they found was Naruto meditating, Sasuke was brooding, and Sakura was silent. What happened here? Izuna spoke for them. Duckbutt got pissed Blondie wouldn't train him, Pinky got rejected and nearly killed by Blondie. Blondie has a colorful mouth when ticked off, I'll admit. He got them both to shut up. After he did that, they started doing what they are now. Naruto opened his eyes. Glad to see you're back onto sensei. Looks like you shut them up. After this, though, my act will have to drop. Word will spread, after all. Naruto stated. No need for that. However, you have outgrown most of what I am supposed to teach you already. Kakashi stated. I'm afraid I don't know what to teach you at this point. I would teach you one of my original jutsu, but I'm not sure if you can learn them easily. Which ones? Naruto asked. All I need are element and rank, to be honest. Lightning, A rank. Both of them, although one is flawed, since it's a straight shot. Naruto looked at Gonta. I think I can handle that. Came up with an S-rank lightning jutsu, after all. Which one? Gonta asked. Pure lightning strike. The one with no chakra usage. One of my 3 last-ditch moves. Naruto stated. Think I could handle them? Gonta thought for a moment. Chidori and Rikiri, correct? Kakashi nodded. Well, shit. Teach him Rikiri. He should have Chidori down. Naruto shook his head. I don't, but I have a short way to go at this point. That kind of manipulation is not easy. Not with lightning. Out of all 5 elements, lightning is the hardest for me to go through and wind is the easiest. Before we get back, show me your progress. Gonta stated. Because after the next chunin exams, I'll taking you on as an apprentice myself. Naruto's eyes widened. Wait. Does that mean? Yes. I'm coming to Konohagakure with you. However, I have my own things to do and as such, I will be giving my own conditions for staying. Gonta stated. Naruto grinned, but then a thought crossed his mind. I almost forgot. I need to pick up a sabaka Toto had made for me. Rigaldo in Makai Market is the smith and it should be ready tomorrow. Do you want me to get or stick with them so you can? Gonta asked. Well, if I get it, you have to deal with the emo bastard and screeching Haruno. Naruto paused, noticing they were both out of it. But if you get it, you might miss your target if we run into him. Gonta tapped his ear. Are you wearing hearing aids now? Naruto asked. Sorry, I can't hear you. Naruto mouthed how? Sound barrier around my ears. I can't hear anything except what my own body does. Gonta stated. It helps if you catch my drift. That'll help. But what about the wind? Unaffected. Gonta replied. And you remember what I taught you about things you can't see or hear your opponent and your nose is basically blocked from picking them up. Naruto nodded. Use it to your advantage. Gonta suddenly remembered something and pulled out a scroll. Naruto came up to him and watched him make a seal. When it was done, Kakashi was also looking at it. What is it? I tend to have random strokes of genius. I just remembered something about Konoha that would help if I had a way to counter it. Gonta stated before looking at Naruto. Pop quiz. What will this seal do? Naruto looked at it for a few seconds. It's going to stop certain sounds or voices. As to what Haruno and youth would be keywords. Aside from that, I have no idea. Wait. Youth. As in power of youth. Gonta nodded. I'll admit that some of the most powerful beings ever have some kind of quirk. Even I do. But when someone has to get loud for that, it gets old after a while and even more annoying. What about the Haruno? Well known to be like banshees in their screech. When they get high enough in volume, it'll block out their voice and your ears won't pick it up. Anything regarding youth will not be heard. Kakashi was awed. Think you could make one of those for the village for the power of youth? If I can figure out a way to get it over a wide area, why not? For now, only Naruto's getting it. Gonta stated. Shirt off. Better to do this now than later. Naruto did so and the seal was placed on his back. Gonta channeled something into his hand before running it on the back of the scroll making it transfer. Naruto didn't even grunt. That was oddly painless. Naruto stated. Could be Kurama or it could be your training. It's the training. You've been through a lot worse regarding your back. He says it's the training. Naruto admitted. Alright. I'll go for the Saba. You stick around. If he shows, fleer the Yaki. If I don't get there in 10 seconds, all bets are off. And this includes your father's shit. Think I can use bloodbath during this? I always liked using it for some reason and it's close to the Sauba in design. Naruto asked. In response, Gonta held out his left hand which started to glow. He pulled out a sheathed sword and tossed it to him. Use it well and don't break it. He looked at Kakashi. If your other students ask, tell them I'm on an errand that will help on the mission. -2 days later. Team 7 had just landed in Wave Country. Naruto looked calm but was on high alert. Gonta had yet to return and they had just landed. He then heard a voice. Sorry, it's taking so long, Naru. It was just now finished, so I'm bringing it to you now. It needs your blood and energy for it to be complete. Noted. Naruto replied. Also, we just landed in Wave Country. No sign of weight. I feel 2 presences. One has no chakra, so they're obviously suppressing it to the max. They can't tell that I know they're both there. Wait for them to make the first move. Use the Yaki pulse to stop it if necessary. Roger that. Naruto then caught something moving towards them. And it was fast. Everyone down. He shouted, tackling Sakura, Sasuke hitting the ground, Kakashi getting Tazuna to the ground. Well. Looks like the green genin picked me up first. I must be getting sloppy. Zabuza Mamachi, AN. If I have to describe his attire, then you should go in a hole and die, landed on the Zanbato that would have cut their heads. Naruto smirked. Ever hear of the Shadow Fox? Wait a minute, you're the Shadow Fox. You catch on quickly. Naruto replied. Oh shit. That means the White Devil is nearby. Zabuza stated. Just hand over the old man. I don't have a death wish right now and I really don't want to fight the fabled White Devil or the Shadow Fox. No one noticed, but Naruto flared some Yaki during his speech. Unfortunately for you, the old man is the client, so we can't let him go. Well, shit. Zabuza replied. Guess I'll have to fight. What about the other one I picked up? Naruto asked, drawing everyone's attention. Oh, there isn't another. So, you picked up both of our presences before I struck once, yeah, you're the Shadow Fox alright. I have no wish to fight you, but Sharingan Kakashi, you're a good match first. Zabuza stated. Hate to break it to you, but Naruto paused, only for another voice to pick up where he left off. Neither of them are your opponent. This came from behind him and Zabuza was sent flying towards the water. Gonta had appeared. Yo, Shadow Fox. He tossed a sheathed sword to him. Leave the other one alone. Kitsuki has her under wraps. Noted. Naruto replied, catching the sword. You don't have much experience with it yet, so don't bother using it here. Well, this sucks. Zabuza Mamachi. Surrender or die. Your choice. Gonta stated. I choose to fight. Zabuza charged with Kubikiri Hacho, ready to cut him in half. It was stopped dead in its tracks by another blade. Well, you didn't choose surrender, so you're going to die here and now. Gonta stated, before pushing him off. The blade in his hands was 3 feet 3 inches long, not including the hilter handle. It had a serrated edge, with hooks along the edges of the blade. It was a sea green color, but it nearly demanded death. Fox, use bloodbath for this one. I've got outsider. You got it. Fox. Naruto shouted. Devil. Gonta shouted. Combo slash. They both ended up shouting. When they finished, they both disappeared from all sight before Gonta appeared right in front of Zabuza, cutting him in the chest. Naruto appeared behind Zabuza and to the right and cut off the left leg at the knee before vanishing. The fact that Zabuza was on the water at that point was not lost to them as Gonta kicked him into the air. Naruto appeared above him and cut off the other leg while Gonta charged from below and cut off the right arm, passing through cleanly and then twisting outsider into a reverse grip and lightly glancing the blade on his torso on his next pass. It didn't happen that way. The moment Gonta came within 2 feet of Zabuza's body, the hook started moving like a chainsaw. That was when he struck the entire length of the spine, starting at the cerebral cortex. Naruto then appeared above Zabuza and instantly decapitated him. Gonta grabbed the head and called out. Body burner. Right. He took a deep breath and released a flame in the shape of a dragon. There were no hand signs, and this angered Sasuke. The dragon split into several and instantly incinerated each piece. The head was left, as was his sword and headband. I love headhunting. Gonta stated before sealing the head in a scroll. Naruto and Gonta came back to the team, Zabuza's blood all over them both. Sakura screamed, but Naruto was unaffected by it. What the hell are you doing, looking like that? Thankfully, Naruto heard this one. We're ninja. It's an occupational hazard. You either kill or you get killed. Especially when you're up against a rogue. If you don't like it, then quit. Naruto stated. But remember one thing. If you quit, that means you are nothing. Not even a coward. Sakura looked pale. HMPH. Dobe's right for once. Sasuke stated. Out of all of us, she's the weakest. She can't call herself a ninja. Kill or be killed is the main occupational hazard for a ninja. She has not experienced a life or death situation in which her life hangs in the balance. I have, and so has Sasuke. Naruto stated before turning to Tazuna. Let's go. Aren't you forgetting something? Gonta asked. Nope. 4 shadow clones have the other one tied up, a 5th dispelled, and she's in the Kitsune realm. Naruto replied. Well done. Best if you didn't know what she was posing as, though. Your rash would return. Noted. Gonta stated. Let's go. Kakashi stated. I didn't even have to show my eye. Naruto cast a knowing look at him. Even if it wasn't yours in the first place. How did you? I taught him. Few know of that event, though. Gonta stated. They say knowledge is power. In a way, it's true. Power is incomplete. Little known fact. Strength beats out power any day. Sasuke stared at him. What's the difference? Power is straight brawn or straight brains. Gonta stated. Strength is the balance between the two. When you balance out your mind, body, and soul, you have strength. Power is good. Strength is great. A rogue doesn't stay alive on power alone. They unconsciously draw on strength to survive, or they die. Plain and simple. What about the other one? Kakashi asked. Not a rogue. She was an orphan that never participated in an academy. Naruto stated. If you want to look for her past, just look at Sasuke. The only difference is because of her bloodline, her father did it. She killed him before he could kill her. Kiri bloodline purges suck ass, that's all I really need to say. She has repeatedly asked for her own death simply because she failed Zabuza. Who would do that for a monster like him? Sasuke asked. He was now curious because of Naruto's strength. If someone even showed the slightest bit of interest in you, took care of you, and even helped you when you were on their last legs, you had no formal shinobi training, no clan training, and it was coming up on the coldest winter on record, what would you do? Think about that for a moment. Naruto stated. Oh. And add in the fact that she noticed his eyes showed the same loneliness hers did. Can't forget that. Sasuke was silent. Sakura didn't bother speaking. She figured it would be best if she didn't. She willingly became his tool. Saved his life countless times. All because of a debt she felt she had to repay. Now that she failed him, she thinks she is nothing more than a broken tool. What do you do to a tool that has no use? That's what's going on in her head. Naruto stated. And that's what the Kitsune are trying to convince her not to do, right? Gonta asked, earning a nod. I'll have to go help myself, sooner or later. You remember my old therapy jutsu, correct? Gonta smirked at that. Good idea. Sasuke should go as well. The two of you could relate to her, although the Kitsune would not like his presence. Not after what Madara did. You know they tend to hold grudges. Have to change their minds somehow. He's going to be working with me. I have no say in that until one or both of us become chunin. Naruto stated. The only reason they hate all Uchiha is because of the whole clan pride and Madara's actions against Kurama. They still have no idea that their Sharingan was cursed. Sasuke stopped where he stood. If I told you later on or before I revealed part of my skills you'd think I was lying. Naruto stated before turning to him. The Sharingan was cursed and the Mangekyo Sharingan causes blindness when it's used. From history, the only way to truly cure it is Naruto's eyes widened before turning to Gonta. Itachi has the Mangekyo Sharingan, doesn't he? Last I checked, yeah. Gonta stated before his eyes widened. That's why he left Sasuke alive. Naruto and Gonta turned to Sasuke. In order to achieve eternal Mangekyo, as per the way Madara got his, is to take the Mangekyo of a blood relative. The closer, the better. How closer can you get than a brother with the same parents? You activate the Mangekyo, you and him face off, winner gets the eyes of the loser and achieves the eternal Mangekyo. Sasuke's eyes widened. How do I activate my Sharingan? Surely you know that. Naruto shook his head. I know several ways regarding how. Which one will apply to you, I have no idea. One of the easiest ones in the current situation is facing an opponent with speed far beyond your own. How is that easy? Sasuke questioned, his temper beginning to flare. Because I hardly opened up during the fight with Zabuza. Tell me. Could you keep up with my speed? Naruto stated. Sasuke shut up. You see my point. I'm a lot faster than you are and my eyes can adjust to changes in speed quickly. What's more is, before my eyes adjust, I'm listening to the wind around me for locations. Something I can do with ease. We'll work on that tomorrow. Sasuke nodded. Just know that I won't be showing you any jutsu that I know. The main reason being, I don't know the hand sign chains for them. This shocked Sasuke. I learned them without using the hand signs. It's straight manipulation for me. It would make a Gakkaku like a high B rank in difficulty. Kakashi nodded at that. Naruto then sighed as they reached Izuna's place. Gonta had disappeared during the trip, but Naruto simply stated he went to cash in. Elsewhere, several people were in a cave meeting. Something strange has happened to the Kyuubi Jinchuriki. One of them stated. What are you talking about? Another asked, patiently. It would appear as if he can use Kaiten Jutsu without hand seals. The first stated. This is not good. A third stated. There is more. The first stated. He is currently traveling with the one known as the White Devil. He will be troublesome if he gets involved. No one knows just who or what the man is. Would it appear as though he does? Yes. And it would seem as though they are closer than they act. Keep an eye on them, but do not engage. If the White Devil becomes a problem, deal with him. If not, leave him alone. Understood. He phased out. The rest of you, continue with your current objectives. The apparent leader stated. All but the leader disappeared. Things always go from bad to worse with these fools. He then phased out himself. Chapter 2. Naruto was having a somewhat good day. He woke up on a tree branch. He thought back to last night. Flashback. Team 7 walked into Tazuna's house. Tsunami, I'm back. And I brought some really powerful ninja with me. Father, welcome home. A female, Tsunami, said, coming out of the kitchen. Wow, who's the blondie? Naruto Uzumaki. And you must be Tsunami, am I correct? Naruto asked, completely professional. A bit uptight, aren't you? Naruto shrugged. I just took on an A rank rogue. I'm a little tense because of the action. Give me an hour, I'll be fine. Are you sure? Maybe I could help. Really? I'll be fine. It's not much and I've been a lot closer to death than this. Naruto admitted. Don't ask for details because I don't like going into them. Why not? Tsunami asked. Who are these people? A small boy asked. Naruto looked at him. If I described the less graphic ones, the boy would have nightmares for at least 2 months. Rough estimate at least. He looked at Tsunami again. Pinky would have them for maybe 4 months. And that's if she believed me. He thumbed at Sakura. Emo would call me a liar, plain and simple. His thumb moved to Sasuke. And Obito remastered, he thumbed at Kakashi. Would take pity on me. I don't want pity. It doesn't help matters any. Oh come on. You couldn't have had it that bad. Naruto motioned for her to come closer so he could whisper in her ear. In all honesty, that was probably sugarcoating it. I was actually dead for 7 minutes not once, but 3 times. The Shinigami doesn't want me in the afterlife. He pulled back to see her shocked face. And that's all by the time I had turned 7 years old. She hugged him. How could you even be sane? Her voice was apologetic, assuring, and even a little depressed. I have my reasons. Those reasons are not exactly what most would think, though. I played the happy-go-lucky idiot. It helped some. Now, I'm heading out. I really need a tree to sleep in. Why not a bed? Honestly, I prefer trees to beds. They help me more often than not and I got used to them. He shrugged again. I slept in forests a lot. Anything else to add? She shook her head. Then a thought came to Kakashi. What about that Gonta? I already said he went to cash in. Besides, there are other things I have to take care of regarding the other one we came across. Naruto replied. Gonta should be back by morning. If not, he went to Haku to try and convince her to live on. Don't ask how he'd do it, though. Not even I know. Naruto walked out of the house. Oh, and if the boy goes about us not knowing any pain, the only one in our team that hasn't is Sakura. She's the only one of us that doesn't know the pain of utter loneliness. He then disappeared. No smoke, no leaves. No nothing. He found himself in a clearing in the Kitsune realm. He then went to the elders and found Haku. Please, there is nothing left for me in this world. Is it because of the fact you failed the only person to ever acknowledge you? He asked, earning her attention. You're the one that brought me here. Why? He may have had no use for a useless weapon, but is that truly the extent of your relationship? Naruto questioned. For example, if he told you to kill him, would you? You couldn't. Then you were never truly a tool. An extra hand, sure. But not a tool. If you were, you'd have said yes without hesitating or even the slightest bit of doubt in your voice. By definition, you are not a tool. You don't have to die just because you feel like you failed. Live on in his memory. That's all there is to it. For what reason should I live? I am useless. That's what you think. Naruto stated as he motioned for the others to leave the area. They did and he sighed. And people always called me a demon for something I had no control over. Turns out I was able to be trained by the same demon that they called me. My father condemned me to that hell, didn't listen to my mother, and my life was a living hell. I actually died 3 times and was sent back after seeing the Shinigami herself. Some things don't change, but there are some that can. Change what you can, see the rest as off limits for thoughts. Why? Haku asked. Why are you so interested in me? Because we are kin. Naruto said, making Haku pale. Naruto sat down and looked Haku in the eyes. We may not be related by blood, but you were hated for something you were born with. I was hated for something my father did to me within 3 hours of my own birth. He wasn't around to stop them from attacking me. My heritage was a closely guarded secret, after all. We both have a gift that we did not ask for. I make the most of my gift. Do you do the same? Haku shook her head. Then you should live on. Make it so you can accept who you are. Every part of you. Bloodlines are good every now and then, but they tend to make people arrogant. Zabuza gave you the skills to survive. Use them and live on. But why? Naruto sighed. Think on everything I've said. My teammate is a dunce, but he is strong. He has no family left, as his own brother killed them all and spared him out of pity and probably a slight twinge of hope, but that's wishful thinking. Haku's eyes widened at that. He doesn't like fangirls, and he defines them as weak female stalkers. He's got the right idea on that, and you don't qualify. Think about it and let me know tomorrow. Flashback no jutsu, Kai. Naruto sighed and got down from the tree to head over to Haku. She woke up at his presence. What did you figure out? Can I come with you? I feel like I can trust you. She stated, unsure of herself. Naruto was instantly in front of her before hugging her. Haku's pav. What is he this feeling? It's not harmful, it makes me want to know. I mustn't get attached, but still my thoughts were all in a jumble. What should I do? This isn't something that I'm wait, it's the same as when. My eyes widened, remembering the feeling. Mom, that's what it is. You're trying to comfort me. You're not sure, are you? Naruto asked, his voice soft and comforting. I should just return it. I returned the hug slowly, but I did. Normal pav. Naruto felt Haku's arms go around him in a light hug. Good, she's returning it. She's finally coming out of her shell. You don't seem too into the idea. Naruto said. I can't say I am. Then why agree? Naruto asked, a little confusion in his voice. I don't know. Haku admitted, her voice hoarse. It's just something keeps telling me that you're on my side. I don't know what's going on, but why am I admitting all this? Naruto pulled back a little bit so he could look into her eyes. I tend to have that effect on people. When I'm angry, people back off. When I'm trying to comfort someone that has had a hard life, they feel protected. That's my experience, anyway. Haku nodded and snuggled into his chest before falling asleep like that. She looks like an angel. I wonder what the team will think. He then noticed she started crying while she was asleep. And they some cry themselves to sleep. She's crying in her sleep. Weird. Not any weirder than our situation. You fell asleep in my fur from time to time. Point taken. Naruto took that moment to remove all the bindings she had. I just hope that she's okay mentally. It will take a while, but she will heal emotionally. Good to know. Remember, she has to come to terms with herself. Until she does that, she can't heal. I know. Naruto looked around and saw a small fox in the area. Kituno, come here for a second. Yes, Naruto. The fox replied. I need someone to watch over Haku. I still have a mission back in Wave Country. Naruto said. Same as before. Just make sure she's safe. If Katoto asks, she's at least somewhat good. She needs support right now. If she wants to know of my past, then tell her the simplified version. I know she may not be completely okay, but she needs help to get over the one person that has cared about her before all this. Show some support because it needs more than I do right now. Good to know. No worries. I'll help out. Oh. They found Gato's hideout. Good. Now I can kill that bastard for doing what he did to my mother's home island after Yuzushi Agakure was destroyed. And also he looked at Haku. I'm gonna kill the bastard for her sake. Kituno looked at him and nodded. From where you came in, you'd need to go 22 miles north by northwest at 11 degrees by 7 minutes. Got it. Naruto replied. You got that experimental explosive? Thought you might ask. The fox then revealed a stack of small tags. Stack of 50. Thanks. Naruto took them. This is righteous justice. The justice of the kitsune and of those scorned. Kituno nodded and Naruto started to fade out. If she asks where I went, tell her Gato will be dead before I return. He was gone before he could receive a reply. Wave Country. Naruto appeared right where he left. Sakura was right there waiting for him. There you are. Kakashi-sensei's been waiting for you. Tell him he's got to wait some more. And he should teach you guys control. He should know what that means. I've got business to take care of here. Naruto said before getting a bearing by looking at the sky and jumping off. Hey. Kakashi, Sasuke and Gonta came outside. Sakura, why are you so goddamn loud? Sasuke asked, thoroughly annoyed. He came back, then just up and left. She replied. Gonta didn't say anything but looked in his direction. It was at that point a fish came to the dock, which he noticed immediately. "What's up?" "Word from the kitsune. Naruto is after Gato." "Okay, that's good and bad." Gonta turned to the others. "I have to go after him. Stop him for now, at least." "You know what he's going to do?" Sasuke asked, still annoyed. "His target is Gato. I was already making plans for it, too." Gonta jumped off and left in a strange white light. Forest. Naruto was stopped by Gonta on a branch. "Trying to stop me?" "No." Gonta replied. "I was already planning on hitting him myself, to be honest. However, we should wait for tonight to do whatever it is you're planning. Have a few hundred shadow clones go through overtake format with the Sauba and watch over it carefully. We'll take care of them tonight." Naruto looked at him. "Forgo the training for now. I'll go and find out the watch times. I'll get personnel numbers and intercept all outbound messages." Gonta replied. They both nodded and Naruto transformed into a black fox with one tail. Shadow Fox is in. At moving. Gonta then faded out. Elsewhere in the forest. Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura were in a clearing. "Why are we here?" Sasuke asked. "Sakura. Naruto said you two needed to train control, yes?" She nodded. "Well, that's what we're going to do here." "Then why isn't he here?" "He's got other matters to attend to and he's already much more efficient in control than most his age." Kakashi replied. "In fact, he's got more control than most jounin." This surprised them both. How could he have that much control? Sakura thought. Sasuke on the other hand, voiced his thoughts. "It's because his jutsu are done without hand signs, isn't it?" "Correct." Kakashi I smiled. "I don't think I'd need to go into a lecture, so I'll get down to it. Climb a tree," he pointed up. "With no hands." "That's impossible." Sakura retorted. "And pulling off an air rank fire jutsu without hand signs as a genin isn't." Kakashi retorted, earning surprise from both Sakura and Sasuke. "I got the drop that Naruto knows and can use DS rank fire jutsu without hand signs. It is straight manipulation and that's even harder to do than this. Just channel your chakra to the soles of your feet. Like this." Kakashi did the same and walked up the tree before standing upside down on a branch. "I think you get the picture." He pulled out 2 kunai and threw it to their feet. "Use that to mark your progress. I'll be watching." After a few hours of them both doing this, Naruto entered the clearing. "How nice of you to join us, Naruto." "I'm not really here. Tsunami says it's nearing lunchtime." Naruto replied. "Naruto. Start climbing. You need to." "Finished and mastered, Sakura." Naruto replied. "Besides, I'm only a shadow clone." "Just how far are you truly on control?" Kakashi asked. Naruto sighed and held out a hand, palm up. He made a small sphere in it within seconds. "This answer your question?" Kakashi nodded at that and it dissolved. "Then I'm out of here." He jumped off. Izuna's place. Everyone was there, minus Gonta and Naruto, though there were 6 shadow clones in there. "Thank you, Clone-san." Tsunami told the clone that helped cook. "No problem, Tsunami." Naruto replied. "Boss did say he's not coming back for lunch, though." "Why not?" Kakashi asked. "And what about Gonta?" "They're gearing up to take down the biggest threat to Izuna's life." The clone replied. Kakashi's visible eye widened. "You mean?" "They're doing so tonight. They're both getting the information on the building, personnel, where everything is, and getting ready for an all-out massacre of his underlings." Naruto cut him off. "I suggest you don't interfere. And Inari. Remember our little talk." "I know. Just get rid of him, please. Remember, there are heroes, some just aren't as open as they'd like to be." Naruto replied with a smile. They all ate before Sakura and Sasuke went back to the clearing to work on the exercise. At night. Naruto and Gonta were in their old cloaks. "Fox, remember the plan. Silent kill, big boom. You get the kill. I'll set the charges, raid the armory, and get the deeds and weaponry." Naruto replied. "Good idea." They then faded. But Shadow Fox. Naruto had reached the armory and sealed up everything into a giant scroll, which he kept sealed on his body. After he was done, he went for the deeds, which was nearby. After that, he got signal that all levels had 5 of his new tags set and ready to go. He left and went to Gonta in the tree. But White Devil. He immediately entered Gato's room. List of faults. His security sucks, for 1. He's too relaxed when he hasn't heard from Zabuza, for 2. And 3 he's dead. Gonta took bloodbath and cut off Gato's head. "I'm gonna enjoy stuffing this head." He left for the rendezvous point. Rendezvous point. Naruto and Gonta were on a branch. "Ready?" Gonta asked. Naruto simply pulled out 1 tag. "Ready when you are." "Art is a bang." Gonta replied. Naruto charged his chakra through the tag. "Izuna's place." Sasuke was on watch, keeping an eye out for anything suspicious since Naruto got rid of all shadow clones. Why did the dope have to get rid of them? I swear, he's going to get us killed. It wasn't long before he spotted a giant explosion. What was that? Naruto and Gonta then appeared on the pier. That was fun. Naruto stated. Yeah. Now I have a little plan for the head we got. Gonta replied. Leave it as a surprise. Tell the villagers to go to the place where a hero once died. Gonta replied. Sasuke then landed in front of them. What head and what was that explosion? An order, Gato's head, and that was Gato's place being blown sky high. Naruto replied, noticing that Gonta was already gone. You took his head? Sasuke asked, surprised. Nah, Gonta did. I came up with the exploding tags and sealed everything that would be needed for rebuilding and his weaponry. I'm not happy with one of the things I found there, though. Naruto said, his voice going cold. Kakashi was suddenly right in front of them. What just happened? I blew up Gato's hideout. Naruto replied. Gonta took his head and has a plan for it. You know what he's planning. I'd stay surprised with it, but I know for a fact he plans on letting them know about this. The next day. Everyone had gathered at the place where Kaiza had died. Naruto was right there and whistled. To think he was going for this. On a pike was Gato's stuffed head. There was a plaque underneath it. Tyranny beware. There's a new hero on the block. Courtesy of the White Devil. The Shadow Fox. Everyone, upon seeing this, cheered. Naruto grinned and found an orphan who looked hopeful. Hey. What's your name? How do you know who those two are? No one knows for sure. Naruto replied. All that anyone knows is that they are highly powerful and can do a lot more than most think. It's obvious they did this and they're probably already long gone now. The orphan looked at him and had a small smile on his face. Naruto then got an idea. Are there any other orphans near here? Maybe I could help lift their spirits up. This way. They ran off, though for Naruto it was simply a brisk walk. They came up to a small rundown building. This is it? Yeah, the boy sounded sad. Well, it's better than some orphans. Naruto said, earning the boy's attention. When I was 5, I didn't even have a roof over my head. He said quietly. Come on, let's go inside. They did so, Gonta chuckling from nearby. Naruto wasn't seen by his team since then, and Gonta was silent when it came to what he was doing. -1 week later. Sasuke, Sakura and Kakashi were getting a little annoyed. They hadn't seen hide nor tail of Naruto. Gonta didn't even seem to be worried. Why aren't you worried for him? Kakashi asked. For one, he can take care of himself. Gonta replied, leaning against a pillar on the finished bridge. The other, he's been with the orphans the entire time. Probably keeping them company or teaching them things he wishes he was taught when he was younger. Naruto and Haku then landed in front of them. Sorry I'm late. Helped a few others on the road of life and they didn't want me to go. I can vouch for that. Haku stated. They took a good hour to finally let him go and then another 10 minutes saying goodbye. Who are you? Sakura questioned. Sakura, if you so much as threaten her, you will not only have me on your ass, you'd be getting the wrath of the entire Kitsune clan, which would amount to worse than the Kyuubi attack all those years ago. Naruto stated, rather coldly. That's not really needed, you know. Haku stated. After all, I can put her in a coma for a week. Sakura visibly recoiled at that. I like the idea of the Kitsune clan going ape. Naruto said, a thought bubble appearing for both of them imagining it. They both looked at each other. Kitsune. Was the simultaneous response to the thought. Alright. Let's go. Gonta looked at Naruto, who nodded. Haku, Naruto and myself are going a different way. We've got other things to take care of. Well, you better make it to the village within 2 days. No worries. Gonta said, before glowing for a bit and disappearing. Naruto sighed, before turning into a wolf-sized black fox with 3 tails. Haku, hop on. So, that means I get to ride you? Haku asked, before blushing. Save the perverted thoughts for later. I don't think it's a good idea to go for that route just yet. It's definitely an option for later though. Naruto replied. Kakashi had a slight nosebleed, Sasuke was out cold, and Sakura was about ready to hit him. Haku then got on, and he ran off through the trees, but not on the branches. This confused them until he was gone. Let's get going. It should take 2 days to get back. Abandoned cave. Naruto, Haku, and Gonta were looking at a set of summoning scrolls. How many of these did you get? Naruto asked, surprised. 13, to be exact. Gonta replied. Among them is that of the snow foxes, which I believe Haku should sign with. Snow foxes? Haku asked, earning a nod. What about me? I'm afraid there isn't a Kitsune contract, so take a look at them. Find one you like. Gonta stated. Naruto looked at each one and saw what they were. Dragons badass, but overkill. Lava monkeys don't want to be called an old monkey when I'm older Eon. Hey Gonta. What's this one for? Gonta took a look at it. The Eon contract, eh? Strange choice. What is an Eon? Naruto asked. Gonta took a thoughtful look. An Eon is basically a higher being. It's not an angel, a demon, or a god. It's just a neutral party. Main problem is no one knows what they're truly capable of, as no ninja could truly summon from that contract before. Who knows? Maybe you'll be the first. Naruto nodded and then signed his name in blood. It glowed for a bit and then the glow faded. Just then there was a flash of light nearby. An. No, I don't own this character. And she will not appear after this. When the light faded, a young female appeared in front of them. She had brown hair with a ponytail on the side of her head. An. Think Yuna from Final Fantasy X2. That's the exact outfit. Hello there, young one. She said. My name is Yuna, from Spira. Naruto had the decency to blush at her clothing. I remember hearing your name somewhere. Gonta mused. Then an idea hit him. Wait, you said you were from Spira, correct? You know of it? Yuna asked. Gonta held up a finger and went over towards a shelf where there were several dusty swords. He picked one off of it and showed it to Yuna. Does this look familiar? Yuna's eyes widened. That's Brotherhood. She stared at him. How did you get your hands on that? So I was right. Gonta replied. Lady Yuna, the last high summoner of Spira and the one to destroy sin by defeating Yu Yevon. Gonta got on one knee. You are someone to respect for bring near eternal peace to your land. Yuna blushed at that. Thanks. Anything you know about those eons? Naruto asked, curiosity in his voice. What do you mean? The eons are wait, that's right. When someone was accepted by their spirits, then I was tasked to reveal myself to the chosen summoner. Yuna said to Naruto. You were accepted by the eons themselves. However, unlike most summons of this world, you can only summon one eon at a time. And even then there are other things to take note of. Like what? Well, for starters, eons don't work like ninja do. They only show themselves to those they deem worthy, even if you already signed the contract. Naruto, right? He nodded. Anyway, Valifer is the only one you can summon right now. I'll admit I'm not quite familiar with your ninja techniques, but the summoning jutsu is done by doing these hand signs. Haku stated, going through 5 of them. Normally, you'd need a little blood to complete it. No blood is needed. You should bond with each eon once you can summon them and you must get the first 5 in order. What I needed for the final summoning is not a part of this contract. That makes things a lot easier. Gonta stated. The final summoning usually kills you, doesn't it? That's what it's supposed to do, yes. Yuna stated. And that's why he wasn't included. Oh, and Valifer is a she. Naruto nodded. Okay, then let's try it. They all went outside, knowing they'd need the space. Naruto tried his out first, Yuna watching. Summoning jutsu. He slammed his hand on the ground and a bright glyph appeared, sending 4 balls into the air. Valifer came out via her usual entrance. Lady Yuna. What are you doing here? Been a while, hasn't it? Yuna asked. Well, the short version is the eons were sent to the far plane when Sin was finally destroyed. Apparently, they were revived and allowed to come back as a summoning for ninja. However, after someone was signed, I came along. Probably a favor of some sort. I see. And I am the first one for the new summoner. That's what it seems like. Yuna replied before turning to Naruto. Treat the eons with respect and they will return it. If you do not, they will not. Naruto nodded. Oh, and did someone teach you manners? If I remember correctly, Aikshin was both impatient and hated those who were rude. Naruto took that moment to look sheepish. Not really orphaned since birth. I'd help him with that. Haku stated. I still owe him, after all. For how long? Yuna asked. Almost a week. And he hasn't taken a favor from you? I don't see the need to. Naruto admitted. I mean, as long as she lives, that's good enough for me. Haku looked at Yuna, who realized what was going on. I see. You want to do more for him, but he doesn't want anything else. Naruto looked at Haku, who nodded. I don't see the point in doing anything or forcing you to do anything. You followed me by your own choice. I don't intend on becoming another's abuser. You need to learn how to live on your own and not rely on others to keep you going. Why? She asked. Why don't you do whatever you want to with me? Naruto was a little shocked. He then thought about it. I just don't see the point in harming you mentally or emotionally, and if I did something physically, I wouldn't forgive myself if something happened. You sound like you care for her more than you let on. Yuna pointed out. Naruto sighed. That's why I'm letting her make her own choices. I'm not going to force her to do anything. If she does something it's of her own will, not because I told her to. She's already been hurt badly. I don't want her to hurt more. Haku looked at him, then Yuna, Gonta, and back to Naruto. Then would you mind if I ask you something? You just did, but why not? Naruto asked, a small chuckle escaping his lips. I mean, really, you don't need to ask. She got close to his ear and he realized that it was something that she considered a little embarrassing. When she pulled away, she had a blush and so did he. I don't think that's a good idea just yet. One day, maybe. Right now, I don't really think it's a good idea. I'm sorry. Haku said, saddened. I shouldn't have. I'm glad you asked about that, though. Naruto said, shocking her. In fact, if there weren't people after me or Kurama right now, then I would have been happy to do so. It's just the timing. Haku started but was cut off by a set of lips meeting hers. When Naruto and Haku separated, he looked her in the eye. For now, I think we should limit our interactions to the kisses and below. Nothing after that for a while. He told her, without blinking or moving his eyes from hers. She didn't respond with words. She went for another one and he returned it eagerly. Gonta, Valifer and Yuna watched them from the sidelines. Gonta somehow had a box of popcorn, which he offered to Yuna. Popcorn? No thank you. I'm fine. Yuna replied. I could use some. Gonta tossed a few pieces up to her beak. She gulped them down quickly. Butter, a hint of caramel, extra salt. Normal salt levels, but other than that, yeah. Gonta replied. Tastes like a little extra salt, if you ask me. Noted. The three watched them make out for a good few minutes before Yuna spoke again. How long can he keep going? They pulled apart, panting. That was 6 minutes, 32.2 seconds. Gonta said, clicking a stopwatch. I think breathing fire does that to you, you know. Point taken. Yuna replied. We'll rest up here, you two. Then we'll head to the village gates. Gonta said, earning a startled look from the two, who were blushing up a storm. By the way, Naruto. Where is your Sauba? You mean Kadage? Naruto asked, pulling the Sauba out of his left hand. I do the same thing as you do with Bloodbath. Nice choice in sheaths. Haku commented. Thanks. Naruto smiled at her, which made her heart melt. You know, I figure he's a big heartbreaker. If he wasn't hated by his entire village save a select few, then he would be. Gonta admitted. And if his father was known to the public, it would be even more. I see. Yuna replied. And who, pray tell, is his father? None other than the Yondaime Hokage, Minato Namikaze. You're kidding me? Nope. Who is this Minato? The only leader that never succumbed to the temptation of power. He could wield the final summoning and not go insane with the power he wields. Sounds like he's pure of heart. You have no idea. I wouldn't go that far. Gonta admitted. He went out noble, banking on his village for his son. His last wish was ignored, his son scorned, and then more than that. Something else was going to happen and he cursed himself out for not following his wife's advice. Naruto and Haku went inside and snuggled together in the bed. Valifer and Yuna left and Gonta chuckled before falling asleep in a tree as a squirrel. On the Hagakure main gate the next day. Kakashi, Sasuke and Sakura were approaching the gate. Gonta, Naruto and Haku came out of the trees as they approached. About time you guys got here. Naruto said, looking at them. We've been waiting for hours. How did you get here so quickly? You think I should tell him of the race from Suna to Kiri? Naruto asked Gonta. You mean the one we finished within 2 hours? That one? That's got to be a record or something, right? Nothing short of aerial traveler Hiraishin could do that. Gonta admitted. And then there's the beast forms. Naruto added. True. Well, since you're here, I really need to give a report. They checked in and saw that Gonta and Haku were there. Who are you? Friends of Naruto, here. I've been coming every now and then over the past few years to help him out. Gonta couldn't. Gonta stated. Haku Kuri. He will I owe him for his graces during his mission. I've come to repay them as needed and I have no one else to turn to. Family? Ed. Haku replied, sadly. I'm sorry. Try to enjoy your stay, Haku-san. The guard stated. Haku nodded. Naruto picked her up bridal style, shocking all but Gonta, and jumped off. I have to go turn in the report. I'm coming with you after I get near. Wait, never mind. He's already in front of the Hokage. Gonta then faded out. Take the rest of the day off. And Sakura. She looked at Kakashi. Take your job seriously. If not, you'll die, or worse. He left in a shunshin. Sasuke had already left and Sakura finally noticed, but she walked to her own home. Hokage's office. Naruto and Haku were standing in front of the old man that called himself the Hokage. Welcome back, Naruto. I trust your mission went well. Gigi, there were a bit too many problems. It turned into an A rank. Wait, it escalated to A rank. The Hokage was surprised at this. Yeah. Insufficient funds. We kept at it, took out 3 missing nins, one of which well, Haku here was following him because he saved her. Now, she's following me, and I'm glad for it. Saratobi eyed the girl. Haku. That's right. She replied, she wasn't sure why she was here. Then she remembered Naruto was there and she wanted to get close to him. I wanted to. Don't even go there, Haku. Naruto told her, his hand on her shoulder. We've already been through this. You don't need someone in your life to live. He then looked at the old man. Gigi, I would suggest you don't go digging into her past. Not until she comes to terms with it. If you want a reference, look at Sasuke in regards to the situation and me in terms of pain. If that's not enough, then you should forget any questioning until she can come to terms with it. The Hokage nodded. I see. Haku, I'm not going to place you under any kind of probation unless you wish to become a ninja. I don't see that happening anytime soon. Naruto replied. Before I choose, could you let me stay here for a while? If only to gather my thoughts. Of course. Saratobi smiled at her. She saw that it was one that showed understanding. I just have to find out where to put you when it comes to living. She'll be staying with me, Gigi. Naruto said, earning his attention. Sasuke's too much of a bastard to treat her right, Kakashi-sensei is a porn addict and Sakura would think she's taking advantage of her. She doesn't know anyone else in the village, to my knowledge. Haku just ignored the presence of the Hokage for a moment just to peck Naruto on the cheek. And then there's that. He added. Kakashi and Gonta entered the room at that point. Kakashi. Why didn't you call for backup when it escalated? I didn't really have to. Kakashi stated. Naruto did, and I can't say we could have gotten any better from the village. Gonta couldn't. Swordsman, long-term trainer of Naruto Uzumaki and the one you may know as the White Devil. Pleased to meet you, here is in Saratobi. Saratobi nodded until he got to the White Devil part. The White Devil? Saratobi nearly shouted. Keep it down. I don't want that fact out just yet. Why are you here? Saratobi asked, regaining his composure. I'm here to stick with Naruto. He's been training under me for years now. He ran into trouble, my target was in Wave Country and I took him down. Stuck with him ever since. Gonta shrugged. Really, I'm just here for a while, but also to get a long-term house, should I really need some rest. Staying with Naruto would be a bonus, if you ask me. Why him? He actually met all of my training requirements. I've been watching his team as well. None of the others qualify. Sakura would if she got her head out of the clouds and started training her body. Sasuke'd need a combination of mind control, body control, and a soul purifier for him to qualify. He's too rooted in his own ideals to change his ways. If he's a flight risk, odds are highly likely that risk will never go away. Not until it actually happens. There are a plethora of reasons why he doesn't qualify and only one that would get him in. Determination to fulfill his goal. But even that's too high, for he would likely sacrifice his teammates to do so if the situation called for it. These are my own observations, and though I haven't seen him fight, I don't base my training on skills, reputation, or names. None of those matter in my choosing. So my parents had nothing to do with you choosing me? Naruto asked. Correct. Your parents don't mean jack shit to me. They may have been dangerous and extremely powerful, but they are them and you are you. I make my own decisions when it comes to training, and the only one I've come across at all that qualifies is you, Naruto. You, who could take all the pain in the world and still wear a smile. You, who has the highest potential, yet no one sees it and everyone would stop you from reaching it due to their own fears. Someone like you could befriend a demon if you tried hard enough. Gonta stated. In the end, you were the deciding factor. Not your parents. Not Kurama. Not even your few bonds. It is you and you alone that caused my decision. Saratobi nodded at that. I see. If that's the kind of person you would train, then I'm afraid that no one else in this entire village would fall under that category. Wait a minute. Naruto started. You found all that out when we first met. He got a nod in response. How? Did you forget how good I am at reading people? Or that I saw through the mask? Gonta raised an eyebrow. Besides, you were out of it for a few hours when you were in my camp back then. Point. The council won't like the fact that you trained him at all. To that, I say this. They can go and fuck themselves. Gonta replied. If they try and hurt him, they're trying to hurt me. I don't take kindly to that. I second that. Haku stated, earning surprise from Naruto and Kakashi. He's the only one here that would understand me, to my knowledge, not take advantage of me, and yet still take care of me. The run-in with Yuna proved that. Naruto stated. I know you've suffered a lot and I don't claim to know the pain of loss, but I do know the pain of loneliness. The feeling of wanting to be accepted. That painful, yet powerful feeling. It doesn't matter who you are. I still wouldn't try to take advantage of you. Male, female, young, old, none of that matters. You and I have shared a similar pain. That alone would make me want to help you, not take advantage of you. And that's why I like you. Haku replied, a small blush on her cheeks. Well, you might get some competition. The Hyuga clan heiress has a thing for me, but she's too shy and hasn't made a move. I literally played the fool and acted all dense. I knew the fact she couldn't keep herself from fainting when I get close enough to even touch her at all, inappropriately or not, meant that she had a massive crush on me and probably a few perverted thoughts. The latter is just speculation, though. Naruto stated. Well, if she doesn't make a move soon, then she won't be able to. Haku stated. Sarutobi nodded. Normally, if I can't find Naruto, I look for her. Usually, she's looking at him. I'd say one thing on that. Stalker, borderline fangirl. My only one that I know of. Naruto cut in. Haku, if you come across her. Just then, the door opened to reveal Kurenai and her team. This included Hinata. Speak of the devil, and he will come. Naruto stated. Haku noticed the statement immediately. She found Hinata Hyuga immediately. You're Hinata Hyuga? Haku asked. She nodded. Naruto-kun, I think I can figure out a few things for you. Look for Ichiraku's raiment stand. I'm heading there once everything is settled. Actually, Naruto. I'm going to give you your inheritance now. Sarutobi stated, pulling out a scroll. Read that at this address. He threw a piece of paper towards him, which he caught easily. This is the scroll my father wanted you to give me. How did you? Well, that figures. Naruto said. Gonta, why don't you head to the house? You kidding? I've heard you talk about Ichiraku's too much not to go there. Gonta retorted. Fellow Ramonite? Naruto asked. This caused several raised eyebrows. Unfortunately, no. And I don't plan on converting, but that doesn't mean I'll disgrace Ramen. It's good in moderation, sure. But in my eyes, it's not good enough for worship. I don't fall under Ramenism and probably never will. Kurenai looked at him and blinked. And here I thought Naruto made that up. Nah, it's somewhat common from where I'm from. For a Ramonite, it's like 80 proof for an alcoholic without the hangover. Gonta stated. Damn. I've got a ways to go for that. Naruto admitted. He then noticed that Haku and Hinata were gone. Where did the girls go? Forest clearing. Hinata and Haku were standing in the clearing. Hinata was clearly upset. What do you want from me? Why are you so shy around Naruto? Haku asked, straight to the point. Hinata blushed. Why do you want to know? Because if you don't improve on your self-confidence, you will lose him. He knows you like him and has been playing the dense fool. No surprise really. Haku then turned her head. He's fooled the whole village, after all. You mean when he could use those fire jutsu without hand signs? Or even the wind jutsu? Hinata asked. Haku did a double take. You knew? Of course. I'm the only one of his fan club that actually followed him around. He had a fan club? Haku asked. Hinata nodded but was cursing herself inwardly. How many members are there? Hinata just looked at her. There were 9, but they've gone down to 3 now. The president of the Uchiha fan club is actually a member. She couldn't be in both. Haku retorted. She's the reason we know that Sasuke is a stuck-up. She's been acting as a spy for us in that group. Being the president was a good thing for us. She had all the information and no one questioned her. The Haruno? Ino Yamanaka. She's a genin now, along with Sakura and myself. Out of both fan clubs, only us 3 are actually Kunoichi. The Uchiha fan club has disbanded since they didn't have many members left. Naruto's hasn't. Well, maybe if you give me a few names, I can find out more for him than I thought. If you became a member, you'd find out really quickly. Hinata told her. I'm still new in town, I'll admit. But I know Naruto better than most would think. Quick question. How powerful would you rate Naruto with all his hidden skills? I'd say bordering Jounin, but his stamina that would place it mid-Jounin, maybe. Did you know he's an A rank in the bingo book? Haku asked, earning a shocked look from Hinata. He's already proved it, but no one but a select few know which one he is. Myself being one of them. When was this? Hinata asked, completely surprised. She knew of the bingo book and that it listed notable targets for any kind of assassination or bounty hunters. He's been in it for a while. A few years, even. I first found out about him a few years back as a low B rank. Now he's a high A rank. What is in there about him? Haku pulled out the one that Zabuza had before he died. This book belonged to a former missing nin. Naruto-kun had gone up against him with one other and he died. Naruto-kun then saved me, so I felt like I owed him. He has stated several times that he wants nothing from me. Just for me to live. That's all he wanted. I looked through it a few times and he stated that he was in the A rank section last time he was able to check. Maybe I could ask Kurenai-sensei about this. He doesn't want it getting out. There is no name for him in it. Just an alias. Why not a name? I mean, I know he hides himself highly well, I might add, but still. I don't know for sure. Maybe it's because, the way others see him, it's better that way. Haku suggested. Hinata looked thoughtful for a moment and nodded. He's hated by nearly 98% of the civilians in the village and at least 50% of the shinobi population, though most are the older ones. That's probably why he kept that part a secret. Meaning, I should keep his training a secret like I have been. Hinata admitted, earning a nod from Haku. This is the entry he told me was him. Name? Unknown. Alias? Shadow Fox. Rank? AA, borderline S. Status? Kill on sight in Iowa. Recruit if possible in AIM. Allegiance? Unknown, if any. Bloodline? Unknown. Skills? Ninjutsu? Hai Anbu. Genjutsu? Unknown. Hijutsu? Cage. Genjutsu? Unknown, assumed Anbu. Affinities? Fire, wind, water, possible earth. Reason for listing. Taken down 3 crime lords simultaneously. Defeated A rank Iowa ninja in Pharonoptics the Inferno. Supposedly allied with S rank White Devil. True identity, unknown. Notes. Apparent use of Shunshin to appear in random areas to catch his opponent flat-footed and cut them. Wanted by Iwagakure for 10 billion Ryu, Kumagakure for 5 million dead or alive, Kurigakure and Kanahagakure alive only. When he told me this was him, I'll admit I was a little shocked. Haku admitted. I knew this village was filled with idiots, but this is a whole other level. Hinata said, nearly gaping. This will take a bit to swallow. I can understand that. Haku admitted. She turned the pages to another ninja. This is who this book belonged to. Zabuza Mamachi. Hinata couldn't help but look. Silent killing master. Wields his Anbado. Wow, he really is strong. She looked at Haku. I assume this is to be kept secret. Every bit of it. Haku answered, putting the book away. And it's missing a lot of information, according to him. How much? He said it was at least 60% and I don't think he's bluffing. She admitted. Naruto then appeared in the clearing. There you two are. He shouted. Hinata, I think Haku, what did you show her? Noticing the absence of the suffix, she looked at him in full business mode. A few things, regarding my opinion on you. Did you know you still have a fan club? Haku replied. Naruto blinked. Since when? Hinata was slowly backing off, so he stopped her with a look. You know, don't you Hinata? She slowly nodded, her face a beet red. Who's in it? Hinata looked at him in surprise. Why? Because I want to know who actually likes me. Aam Eno and MMM her voice went near dead silent at the end. Naruto heard it though. You're in it too? She nodded weakly, trying hard not to faint. I guess I really shouldn't be surprised, though. Let me guess you're the leader of it. She had a deer in the headlights look on her face. You learn something new every day, I guess. Kurenai Yuuhi, Kiba Inyazuka and Shino Aburam appeared in the area. Why didn't you tell us you found her? Kurenai asked, annoyed. If you're talking about Hinata, I wasn't looking for her. I was looking for Haku, to be honest. Hinata looked down. But I found out much more than I really thought I would. Like the fact I have a fan club. Since when? Kiba nearly shouted. I think you should ask Hinata that one. By the way, Naruto turned back to Hinata. Fenced off forest. Please tell me you did not see me training in there. She looked down in shame. You did, didn't you? She weakly nodded. Well, this is just great. He shouted, highly frustrated. Now I have to find another secluded area to train those kinds of things. What do you mean by that? Kurenai asked, her eyes narrow. No one knows that I know you've been in there at all aside from those here. She stated, before finally fainting. Haku caught her. You're Kurenai, correct? She asked, earning a nod. Take her home, please. Naruto-kun and I have to talk about something. Unfortunately, those two are not allowed to know, as far as I know. Her eyes widened. You mean? You really want to go into that? Naruto asked. I mean, I don't really see the problem, as long as no one else hears it. I just want to know everything I can. As they say, knowledge is power. Haku replied. He shrugged in return. Kitsune realm? Why not? Naruto then grabbed Haku's waist and they both disappeared. No smoke, no leaves, no trace. How did he? Kiba, quiet. Kurenai ordered, holding Hinata. Head back to the Hokage. Let him know that Naruto has a new version of the Shunshin. Not a Shunshin, Kurenai. Gonta said, behind her. She instantly went on guard and turned to him. I should know, being as I taught him the idea behind it. He merely worked it out on his own. Void element. Pure teleportation. That's all it is. Where did you learn about it? A few ideas, here and there. It was a random stroke of genius. I have them, from time to time. One such idea is this. He showed off a seal on his neck. Sound blocker seal. Youth is a code word for this one. Why did you make something like that? The no has green beast ring any bells? Gonta asked, causing Kurenai to stiffen. You don't mean? Yeah. Him. Gonta replied. Anyway, I've got to get going. They're heading to another realm and I don't know when they'll be back. Unlike here, Naruto is well respected there. He turned around and got on one foot. Exit, stage left. He vanished after 3 seconds to the left. How does he do that? Shino asked calmly. I have no idea. Kurenai replied. He's an enigma. Almost like her eyes widened. Shino, take Hinata home. I have to meet with the Hokage on something. Chapter 3. It's been nearly a month since Team 7 had gotten back from Wave Country. Sakura's been working on herself physically, along with her reserves. Sasuke's been working on his Sharingan, along with a few ninjutsu. Naruto, on the other hand, has been working on Kenjutsu, Ninjutsu, and refining his Taijutsu, all of which with Gonta and Haku. Naruto had been leaving the village with a shadow clone to take care of D ranks, as they haven't gotten another C rank lately. Now, Team 7 is waiting for Kakashi on the bridge where they usually meet. Where is he? Sakura asked, clearly frustrated. Memorial Stone. Naruto replied, catching their attention. He's got dead teammates to mourn and it takes up quite some time. Caught him there once, never questioned it. It's the real reason he's always late. Those lame excuses I might have to give my excuse booklet. They're bound to better than his. Kakashi poofed in. Sorry, got lost on the road to life. Really? Naruto asked, eyebrow raised. Or is you got lost on the highway to hell? Kakashi blinked. Nice comeback. I know what you do every morning. Thought it would fit. Naruto shrugged. Anyway, let's just go get the stupid D rank. Actually, I already got it. And Naruto, you're going to love this. What makes you think that? For one, it's a C rank. Naruto raised an eyebrow at that. The other is that it's in the village and deals with your art during the academy. You mean the pranking? Naruto asked, earning a nod. Oh, this is gonna be good. I gotta let the boss know this. Be right here. It poofed out, raising eyebrows. Within 30 seconds, Naruto and Gonta appeared in the clearing, a little worn out. Who asked for it, any limitations, and how long do we have? Sumenyazuka, nothing specified, and we have 3 days. Target. Kakashi gave the information on the target location. Apparently, some idiots in the civilian sector. Okay wait, that's the guy that this is so going to be worth it. What do you mean? I've had a bone to pick with him ever since he tried raping Anko Midarashi. Naruto admitted. I couldn't do anything without dropping everything, and now that I'm a ninja, I couldn't do anything period. This just solved a lot of problems in my head. Then why don't we let you handle the planning? Sakura asked, surprising Sasuke. I mean, if you have something against him, yet you didn't do anything beforehand, surely you'd know what to do to him. Oh, I have had several thousand ideas for him. Every entry point, every time to move in, even the perfect traps, pranks, and everything else. Non-lethal. I didn't say anything about killing him physically. Naruto retorted. Although, by the time we're done with him, he'll either wish he was dead or try to commit suicide. If it's the latter, then we'd need proof of it being suicide. I'm letting him handle this. Sasuke stated. I think it's best that you let us know of the plan before you set it off. Kakashi stated. Actually, I think I don't really want to know. Sakura admitted. Well, I suppose that narrows things down. But let me know what you're doing. Gonta stated. You know it. Naruto stated. -2 days later. Naruto was perched in a tree waiting for his target to arrive. The moment he did, Naruto smirked as he remembered what was going to happen. Flashback. Alright, so what did you come up with? Gonta asked, Team 7 present. Okay, here's the first thing. He works the evening shift in the Hokage Tower. He's well aware of how several shinobi in Kinwaichi think. No one knows how I think. So this is going to start off with an actual trap after he closes the door. Flashback over. The moment he closed the door it automatically locked. He was a little surprised but shook it off. The next piece that comes in is the first secrecy trap. A Jinjutsu seal. It will make it so that no one can hear what's about to happen to him. After that, another Jinjutsu seal will activate. Since he's not a shinobi, he won't recognize it. The man started feeling a lot more tired than he thought. He started walking straight to his bedroom. After he starts walking to his bedroom, the first defensive trap will activate. Right before he reached the door, several senbon were released towards him. He didn't realize they were coming until they hit him. All of them hit non-vital areas, but he staggered. Then he'll start pulling out the senbon and he'll feel the effects of them with the next one. The moment the last one hit the ground, another trap went off. He was somewhat expecting it, so he managed to dodge direct impact but got hit with the aftershock. Odds are likely he tried to avoid it, not realizing the fact it will have a backdraft. He was sent into the wall, which crunched a bit, covering him completely in honey. He started to get up, realizing that someone was out to get him. He started to run towards the door to get out. Before he can reach the door from that location, he'll be hit with several down feather pillows. He literally looked like a chicken and still tried going for the door to unlock it. One problem. He's going to get even more of a surprise when he does get there. He tried unlocking the door, only to fail miserably. You have wronged several women. This is redemption from Venus, the goddess of love and beauty. A female voice stated. Of course, the voice will be a projection of a more powerful version of that regarding my Naruto form. What did I do wrong? I only did what anyone would do. Then face the full wrath of the chicken. Courtesy of Mercury. He didn't get it until he was somehow lifted up into the air. After he gets hoisted by the chakra string seal, the chicken will be finished and the door will unlock. The door finally got unlocked, but he wasn't planning on going outside like this. He's not going to want to go outside. As if he had a choice in the matter. The chakra string that held him up opened the door and nearly threw him out only to land on a skateboard. The skateboard has tar all over everything except the wheels and trucks. Naruto stated. That'll keep him on there. Gonta stated. That's the point. He was heading fast down the empty street, right past the Inyazuka estate, where Tsume, her daughter Hana Inyazuka, and Kiba Inyazuka were on the porch just talking. They heard something and turned their heads and found the guy Tsume told them about the other day. Hana recognized him instantly. What happened to him? Oh, I just asked for a C rank and asked specifically for Team 7. Wait a minute. Team 7 has Naruto, Sasuke, and Sakura, right? Kiba stated, somewhat confused. Correct. Though, the reason I asked for that team was Naruto alone. What do you mean? That's what it was. Tsume stated. What I don't get is why it isn't happening when everyone is up and about. Maybe they only needed us to see it. Hana suggested. Then why is he heading to the shinobi-only apartments? Kiba asked, earning surprise from them both. Why would he go there? Tsume asked. Hana's eyes widened though. The first stop is right in front of the Inyazuka estate where Tsume, Kiba and Hana will be able to see him. The next stop is something more personal than the mission. Being as he didn't know how to turn the skateboard, he ran straight into a door and broke it down, only to find a drunk and pissed off Anko Mitarashi, Naruto right next to her. Her eyes widened. You. The man instantly saw her and was a little afraid. Bad time? You're the one that almost raped me. Anko shouted. Hey Anko? Naruto said, barely catching her attention. I've got an idea for you. He whispered a few things into her ears. The longer it went on, the wider her grin got. Good enough. That's more than good enough. She replied, her face in a sick twisted maniacal grin, her eyes promising pain. She grabbed him and sent him flying, with several snakes following him until the next morning. That was when he was eaten, because he passed out. And that's how you take care of a criminal on multiple fronts. Naruto said, as his team revealed themselves. I've got to admit that was crazy. Kakashi stated. You must have some kind of sadistic side to you, or something. I do, I just rarely use it. Naruto shrugged. Anko walked up to them. Gaki, I really got to thank you for this. Now if only I could just find out the one person that stopped him the first time around. You're looking at him. Naruto stated, causing her eyes to widen. I helped you out then, and I never forgot what he was going for. This was payback. You do realize that since you're a shinobi. I can't hurt him. Well, that would be the case if not for the fact it was a mission assigned to my team by one Tsume Inyazuka. He did the same thing to her daughter, Hana Inyazuka. We were simply called in for the job. And I must say, you did it highly well. Another female stated. Tsume walked up to them, Kiba and Hana next to her. Although, I'm pretty sure he was supposed to live. I never explained the second Genjutsu seal, did I? Naruto asked his team, who all shook their heads. Naruto just pulled out scroll and unsealed a much larger scroll. He opened it, revealing a large storage seal. The second one did not release an actual Genjutsu. Kurenai Yuuhi is not familiar with it as it is tied with Fuinjutsu and cannot be used without it. What it does is keep him alive. How does that happen? Anko asked, somewhat happy that she could kill someone without having to worry about the consequences. For starters, the moment he dies, and no it doesn't really prevent death, he is basically revived and sealed into this scroll. It only works once, and once he's unsealed, he will remember everything. Even dying. He unsealed a man from it, still in a chicken state. The people had started gathering around, and he woke up. They were all laughing at him. Team 7, the Inyazukas and Anko all laughed at him from a nearby rooftop, though Kakashi released a chuckle. Kurenai entered the area, as did an Anbu. Wait, isn't that the Anbu started? Yeah, it is. Kurenai replied. Thank me later. Tsume stated. Thank the blonde Gaki now. Both of them turned to Naruto. Don't bother thanking me. It was a mission, and it was also a little personal. The personal part was resolved by someone else. Naruto admitted. Anko's eyes widened. You mean? Yeah, I let you take out your frustration on him. Naruto stated. You like. Big time? Anko flashed him a grin. Oh yeah. Naruto held up a thumb and gleamed his teeth. Never underestimate the wrath of the chicken. Kurenai and Kakashi shivered. Have you met Mido Guy yet? Kakashi asked. Once. Gonta was with me and his voice cut off at various intervals. Naruto admitted. I thank him for making it so I can't listen to his power of youth speeches. I didn't hear it once during that meeting. Kakashi, Kurenai, and Anko's eyes widened. The Anbu's eyes didn't, or maybe they did. Naruto couldn't tell because of the cat mask. In case you want to know, Gonta is currently working on one that will allow it to work anytime it comes up in the village. You mean? Mute the sentences holding it, and unless it comes from a foreign shinobi or no shinobi at all, it's not coming out in the middle of the village. Naruto stated. That's the plan, anyway. Oh, yeah. You've been nominated for chunin exams. Kakashi stated. And what about Iruka? Kurenai asked, raising an eyebrow. I made a few points after the meeting. In private, of course. He was most worried about Naruto, to be honest. I guess it's no surprise. He always considered me as a little brother, after all. Naruto shrugged. Although, it was my old act that was the reason. He saw through the first mask, but not the second. The second hid my abilities. Quite well, I might add. No kidding. Sasuke admitted. When you really open up, I can't beat you. I also owe you for helping me unlock my Sharingan. And then there's teaching me medical ninjutsu. Sakura added. That's extremely useful. Especially when we get ourselves so banged up in our spars. Naruto asked. Even more so then. Sakura stated. At least I'm not a useless princess anymore. You're still not on my list of loves. Naruto stated. And you never will be. Haku's got that position. Sasuke added. Iruka showed up. Naruto, what did you do? Finished off a C rank. Was the reply. Anyway, I was up all night watching the entire thing. I'll need an hour or two of meditation before we actually go for another round. Wait. That was the mission you were assigned the other day? Yup. Naruto beamed at him. By the way, Anko. She looked at him and he leaned in close to whisper again. You're kidding me? She asked. I wish. Think you're up for it. Won't know until I try, right? She asked. Good. Then why not ask right now? Anko froze up for a second. Kurenai noticed it. Soon commented on it. What's got your panties in a jumble? I've got to go to an appointment. Anko shunted off. At least she tried to. Gonta had a hold on her immediately. What kind of appointment? Couples therapy? Why would you think that? Anko stammered. A theory at first. You just confirmed it. Gonta smirked at her. I'll handle this one, Naruto. They both vanished. Naruto looked at the sky. I love when a plan comes together. He left without a sound or signal. Forest clearing. Gonta and Anko appeared in the center. Alright, I'm guessing that Naruto was suggesting you ask someone out on a date. I'd go on to guess that he told you to ask Iruka, correct? How did you know? Anko asked. Well, Iruka's the only one in the village that's male, aside from the Sandaime, that actually likes him for him. Anko looked down. Why is it you're afraid of a relationship? That caught her by surprise. What makes you think I am? Well, the reaction earlier for one. Gonta raised a finger. 2, if I mentioned him by name, you'd go ballistic, so I'll call him by the moniker I have for him. Pedophilic snake bastard. Anko looked down again. It's the second one. Figured as much. Gonta stated. Iruka wouldn't care if you were a stupid whore, crazy idiot, or anything of the like. As long as he knows the true and not who everyone else sees you as, then he'll at least accept you. Naruto bonded with him as a Jinchuriki. Your best bet for a lifelong partner is Iruka. Naruto has Haku, though I've seen Hinata Hyuga watch over him from time to time. The blonde Gaki is taken, yet he still sticks up for me? Anko asked. I'm surprised, to be honest. Well, I'm a little too old for you, and I'm somewhat like a father to Naruto. Gonta admitted. I see. So. Give Iruka a chance. If he isn't up to snuff, then don't go for a second one. That's all there is to it. At least make an effort to get together with him. It won't be easy, with Orochimaru out there, but I can assure you that, when he does come, I'm after his head myself. Naruto has a bone to pick with him, as he caused your suffering. I'm after him because of the threat to the balance of life and death he poses. What do you mean? He's not immortal. Not completely, however, he's got a new jutsu that allows him to transfer his soul to another body. That's why he's a threat to the balance of life and death. But that means. I have a reliable source for it, but until he makes his move, I can't do or say anything on it. If I do so too early, I risk letting him get away. Timing is everything in this. He's got to die, and for good reason. Gonta stated. Why do you make it your business to uphold the balance? Know that what you're about to hear is not to get out. Team 7 is in the loop. Haku, Naruto's girlfriend, is in the loop and the Hokage is also in the loop. Aside from that, no one knows and I'd like to keep it that way. Gonta stated. I want a solemn oath that you won't breathe a word of this. If it will screw over the council, why the fuck not? Anko asked. If I do, I'd summon a snake and have it rip out my heart and then have it eat me and the one I told. Unless you give permission otherwise. There was a strange wind that blew through the clearing. You've been through the bingo book, correct? Yeah, what about it? I'm in it. Gonta stated. That can't be right. She pulled one out and looked through it. What rank? Last I checked I was S rank. Gonta stated. She looked at him in shock and then turned to that section. I don't see you there. Look for the white devil. She found it and froze immediately. No, there's a reason I'm called the white devil and it's not because of the strange transformation that I can use. Only 2 are aware of this next fact. I gained the white devil title back home where technology is far more advanced but no one can use chakra. Gonta stated. Wait a minute. Let me go over this for a second. Anko stated before reading it. Name? Unknown. Alias? The White Devil. Rank? S, borderline SS. Status? Recruit if possible in Odo, aim. Flee on site anywhere else. Allegiance? Unknown, if any. Bloodlines? Unknown. Skills? Ninjutsu? Unknown. Genjutsu? Unknown, assumed cage level. Bijutsu? Cage. Ninjutsu? Biju level. Chakra levels? Unknown. Affinities? Unknown. Weaponry? Katana with a red-colored blade. Strange sword with a serrated edge and hooks along the edge of the blade. Reason for listing. Taken out innumerable missing nin without any recorded use of ninjutsu. Has a strange form reminiscent of a white dragon. Details of said form are sketchy at best. Notes. Said to pair up with Shadow Fox. If they are found together, hope you are not their target. You will die if you are. Bounty if dead. 50 trillion, Ryu. Bounty's gone up since I last checked. Gonta stated. And you said where you come from, no one can use chakra. Correct. Gonta stated. I have no chakra to use. Ninjutsu and Genjutsu are non-existent. Taijutsu is my own and basically a combination between a light-hitting Taijutsu and a heavy-hitting Taijutsu. Basically, if you combine the Gyuukin and Gokin, here, you've got a good idea of it. Being as I can't use chakra, it's strange how it works out for me. At least it would be if I didn't explain how I use the light hits. What do you mean? Naruto is familiar with the style I use. I did teach him for years, after all. I take it he's Shadow Fox. Correct. He's got my Taijutsu in his arsenal and he uses chakra for the light hit. I, on the other hand, use something no ninja, aside from those that received it from the Shinigami herself, can use. The Nibi no Bakaneko can use it as well, though it is uncertain if her Jinchuriki can. It is called Raishi, or the energy of death. In essence, only someone that has been given a blessing from the Shinigami or has died with it in them, though highly unlikely, can use it. Naruto is the only one that can access it, but he hasn't met the final requirement. Actual death is required, not a false death, and he has to live through it to get it. Why can he access it? The seal holding back the Kyuubi, or Kurama as we call him, is powered by the Shinigami herself. Gonta told her. Wait a minute. The Shinigami is female. When you've been as close to her as I have you tend to see things you never think of. The serrated blade is called Outsider and it happens to be unique to me and me alone. Gonta admitted. However, it's not the original one, which was destroyed back home. The Shinigami made me one, sent me here, and told me to collect a few things for her and uphold the balance of life and death. In essence, I became the White Devil for real. Raishi can trigger my transformation and it makes it real. I can also charge it through Outsider to make the hook spin around it like a chainsaw. You can think about it as adding wind and lightning chakra to a blade and combining their effects. That's some serious cutting power. That, and the fact that the motion will make even more damage to the target. The red-bladed katana is actually named Bloodbath. No one knows why but Naruto and me, but Bloodbath got its name from a slaughter back home. 523 people in one night on my own. Similar to Itachi Uchiha, but mine was more of a mission and I had to get to my target. It earned me the title White Devil and Bloodbath got his name. Death number 523 was my target. I walked out of there with only one scratch and that was nowhere near fatal. Got into a nearby forest, rested for a few hours and left a cache in my target. The rest were found and 522 people were reported killed, all of which were reported to be under a crime lord that would have destroyed the world if he could. And that world isn't ours. Gonta shook his head. I brought his head to my employer, I got paid at least twice as much as I usually ask for. I got paid, I was happy. I left there and the news spread like wildfire. No one knows who did it and for that I'm glad. It was also after that the Shinigami appeared in front of me and said that my talents would be useful for her. I ended up in Lightning Country nearly 10 years ago. I've been traveling ever since. 5 years ago, I was passing through Fire Country to get to a target of mine at that point. I managed to find Naruto and he was passed out. What happened then? Well, Gonta started the story. Flashback. Gonta was sitting next to a fire with Naruto nearby and unconscious. I know this kid is familiar for some reason, yet I know for a fact I haven't seen him before. At least not in person. It only took 3 more minutes before he woke up. Glad to see you're awake, kid. Gonta stated, startling him. Relax. Naruto didn't relax. If I wanted to hurt you, I'd have done it sometime in the last few hours you've been unconscious. Naruto was still suspicious. You're going to take me to Jiji, aren't you? Not sure yet. Gonta admitted. What's your name? You don't know who I am? I think I do, but your name escapes me, to be honest. Gonta admitted. Naruto Uzumaki. Naruto nearly shouted. Gonta froze at that point. Naruto noticed this. Are you okay? No, it can't be, you've got to be fucking kidding me. This is the Naruto Uzumaki. Gonta was so surprised, he barely noticed his question. How old are you, Naruto? 8, I think. Naruto replied. Why? That should be about right. Are you in a ninja academy? Naruto nodded profusely. Which one? There's more than one. One for each ninja village, minus a few of the minor ones. Did you go into one of them? Gonta shook his head. I'm not a ninja, but I've taken down ninja that are actually far stronger than some Anbu. They are the guys in the masks. They're slowpokes. That may be true, but this is a time of peace. Standards are low for most. Say, would you like to learn a few things under me? But I want to be a ninja, not a bounty hunter. The most powerful one in Konohagakure. Hokage, eh? Gonta asked, earning a nod and a smile. At this point, I doubt you can. What do you mean? One does not just get the title of Hokage. They have to prove themselves to both their village and their council. They need a multitude of skills that I can tell you don't have. It may seem harsh, but it's the truth. I can help you get stronger, but you have to keep my interference secret from everyone. Especially, the Hokage. After all, I have already gained a reputation around the entire elemental nations. You mean I can't show off what I learned from you? I've heard several sayings among demons a while back. Gonta stated. A stupid demon lives longer than a demon that proudly displays its power in front of someone that wishes to kill him. The easiest way to do this? Well, you learn things from me, you play the fool. Go for a loud, hyperactive, knucklehead. The what? I'll put it another way. Shout to the world anytime you talk, aside from the depressing parts of your life or when anger is present. That's loud. Act as if you can't sit still for more than a few minutes. That's hyperactive. Knucklehead is basically the clincher here. It means you don't understand a word of what they say. All the while, you wait for them to train you and keep an eye on things. I'll be training you in Taijutsu and giving you a few things regarding ninjutsu that I know how to perform or how they're used. There is more to it than that, though. Does this mean I can't pull any more pranks? Naruto asked. No, it doesn't. Gonta stated. There is a lot about yourself that you need to know if you don't know already. Like your parents and why a lot of people are bound to hate you. You know who they are? I know of them, yes. I'm one of the few that knew they even had a child that survived. You know how to use chakra, correct? Gonta asked, earning a nod. Okay. First lesson can be given now. Anything can be used as a weapon. He picked up a rock no bigger than 2 inches around. This rock can be a weapon and even kill if used properly. He tossed the rock and it made a hole in a tree. If that was a head, it would have killed the target. How did you do that? Naruto asked, curious. I simply know how to use anything as a weapon. I've been training like this since I was 5, after all. By the time you reach genin rank, you'd be able to do that with a blade of grass. Your chakra is the same way. What do you mean? You know how to access it, sure. But if you can't control it or use it properly, it's virtually useless. Gonta told him. All weapons and tools are that way. Another example. A novice with a kunai is up against someone who has a rock and can do what I did to the tree with it. Who wins? Kunai, easily. Wrong. Gonta stated. The rock will win because the novice has no control over the kunai. It's not a matter of who has the most efficient or flashiest weapon. All that matters is the wielder's skill with the weapon they wield. Now, let's get to work. Flashback, Kai. A year later, he met the Kyuubi. Found out who his parents were, why he was hated, the Kyuubi's name, and got him a second trainer that wouldn't stunt his progress. And he stuck to the pranks like glue. Anko admitted. What did you teach him? Hajuwu Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, one other he can't use unless he's a chunin or has taken the chunin exams once, and no, I'm not revealing its name. Then there's how to control chakra ninjutsu among 3 elements without hand signs. Kurama had the other 2 elements. Kurama and I work together with a 6th, which he picks up like a sponge. Wind and fire are the easiest for him. He also soaks up wind jutsu like a sponge, and Kurama helps out with the fire. He can use wind and fire elements like the Raikage uses his lightning element for his Raiten. Lightning armor. Massive burns or extreme amounts of cutting power in his taijutsu. Enko whistled. That's got to be useful. That's kind of the point. Thing is, the majority of the jutsu he learned from me he learned without knowing the hand signs in the first place. Tajuwu Kage Bunshin no Jutsu is the only one that I taught him the hand signs for. That was it. Every other jutsu I taught him, he learned how to use without hand signs to begin. That goes to show you just how powerful he is in ninjutsu. He's a ninjutsu tank easily, and he doesn't slack off into jutsu or kinjutsu. Not even I'm aware of his skill in genjutsu, mainly because I don't use them and I couldn't explain how to use one in the first place. I've come across a lot of jutsu in my travels and I've been giving him the basics of them all. With his ingenuity, and he knows that I don't look for the hand signs, he works out the kinks in each one and figures out how to use it, proving that he knows how to use it like an actual master of the jutsu to me. What would you say is his favorite? Kage Bunshin no Jutsu. Easily. He stated, and I quote, "There's nothing more gratifying or satisfying than pummeling a bastard that wants to kill you with more than 2,000 hands and 2,000 feet." He told me of Mizuki on the way back. Even if he did kill the bastard, he wouldn't be affected that much. His first kill was at 9, and it was someone that was about to rape someone. Damn. How did he get over it? Well, he didn't regret the kill because it was either do that or let him rape her. We both frown on perverts and hate rapists. He makes sure it's possible to justify a kill before he does. That way, he doesn't regret it and it won't affect him much. And if it does, he's got a personal therapist sealed in his gut. He's good. Okay. The blonde Gaki is at least Kage level in ninjutsu, perfect control, knows a shitload of ninjutsu without hand signs. Taijutsu is the most feared one to appear in who knows how long. Do I have everything so far? Aside from insane chakra levels from Kurama, yeah. Gonta stated, completely lacks. You've got one hell of a student, you know that. Yeah, his A rank status doesn't do him justice. He's already surpassed his father, he knows it, and he doesn't care. He's still being trained by Kurama and myself. He's been progressing extremely fast with Kinjutsu lately, since he's using something that was suggested for him. He knows not to reveal it to anyone that doesn't know about it yet, so don't ask about it. Noted. Heh, that blonde Gaki is gonna bring a lot of trouble to anyone he wants to. Just be glad that he doesn't want to destroy the village. Otherwise, he'd have done it already. And I know, full well, that he could. Gonta stated. He's not as stupid as some make him out to be. He drew attention to himself, but it was not the kind of attention that would have people take him seriously, so that only added to the effect that we wanted. Damn, Gaki's got more in his arsenal than anyone else here. Anko stated. I really wish you'd help me out, but I highly doubt you would. Mainly because of something that Snake gave me. Curse mark. She nodded. I can help with that, but afterwards you're on your own. I thought you couldn't use any type of jutsu. That only applies to ninjutsu and jinjutsu. Taijutsu, fuinjutsu and kinjutsu are my specialties that you could possibly understand. I can easily reverse the effects of the curse with a little shijutsu that I came up with. All shijutsu that I know, aside from a select few I learned from the Shinigami, are of my own ideas or ideas a few of my old friends had before they passed on. This is one a friend of mine came up with and through shijutsu, I can use it. Then could you do it right now? Why not? The moment it starts, Naruto is going to know and he will come running. He knows the feel of my Raishi, but he doesn't know of this particular one. The main reason being, I haven't used it around him and I never really explained it to him. Gonta explained. Make sure the curse will not be covered up if your clothing starts shaking, because if it does, shit will hit the fan faster than the yondaime can move with a Hiraishin. She nodded and took off most of shirt. No peeking though. Please, if I wanted to do that, I would have done something else among shijutsu. Shinigami uses it often, though. Thankfully, I'm not around when she does. Otherwise, I'd do something I might regret. Gonta admitted. Good to know. Anko stated. Gonta got ready and took a deep breath. Here goes. He started. Shijutsu. Reverse of yin-yang. Black flame-like energy swirled around his left right arm, which was extended towards the curse mark. They then separated from the arm at various points and each one hit the curse on one of its tomo. Curse reverse. Elsewhere. Naruto was with Haku in the living room. They had been talking for a bit. Naruto stopped mid-sentence when he felt something. What's up? Onto that's his Raishi. He said, his head turned over his left shoulder. Why would he need it? But swordsman? Haku suggested. No, this is too much for him to use against another swordsman. He didn't use even 2% of the amount he's releasing now. He's obviously using one of his shijutsu. Naruto then got up and jumped out the window, Haku following him. Clearing. Naruto arrived in the area, Haku right behind. They found Gonta pushing his Raishi into Anko's neck. Told you he'd come. Gonta stated. Anko just nodded slightly. Don't worry, Naruto. She'll be fine after this. It's not something I've shown you due to the fact there was no need to use it before. You've shown me a few shijutsu, but which one are you doing? Reverse of yin yang. You haven't heard of this one because I've only used one other time and you weren't there. He stated, sweat dripping from his brow. I've got to focus on this. Naruto looked at Haku, who nodded. Sasuke landed there within 30 seconds. You're hard to catch. He then noticed Gonta and Anko. What are they doing? I'm not sure, but I think it has something to do with the curse mark on Anko. Among the few people on my shit list, Orochimaru of the Sannin is among them. Naruto explained. The reason is the same thing Gonta-sensei is working on. Kakashi is our sensei. I have both as my sensei, even though we share Kakashi as one. Oh, and I like the fact that I can show off some of the lower level wind jutsu now. I can show just how much mastery with wind chakra I have. I really had no other choice when it came to ninjutsu since I didn't have access to the hand signs as I was learning. It helped out immensely with my control. All my jutsu are straight manipulation, aside from the Taiju Kage Bunshin no Jutsu, with which I can bring out my own personal army and still kick ass. If your control is that high, why did you still flunk out with the Bunshin no Jutsu? That was the suppressor seal, along with the resistance seal. My chakra control was still highly screw up like that, and that's how I got it up. I go through tree climbing, water walking, and even a few others that I usually shouldn't even know about, as they aren't even chakra control exercises, officially. Naruto admitted. And even if I wanted to, I couldn't teach them to you because they are not able to be used with chakra but is possible with Raishi, which is what Gonta-sensei is using, and Yaki, which I have access to and can use myself. Though, that's only in tight spots. It was at this point, Gonta's hand went skyward, prompting a purple orb to leave Anko's neck to head into the air. Gonta's hand closed. Raishi purification. The purple energy started to glow a deep purple shine, which soon became a crystallized stone, which then glowed a bright white before charging straight towards Anko's neck. She screamed. Naruto, sensing this would happen, placed a sound barrier around them both, making it so they can't hear her. She's in a lot of pain. Why aren't you helping her? Haku shouted at him. There's nothing else I can do that won't endanger her more. Was his retort. If I tried to interfere, then I would either cause her death due to instability or I'd cause a massive explosion, taking the whole of Konohagakure, along with all of us, and sending everything in the area into oblivion. Worse things could happen, and I'm not about to risk that. The best I can do is keep a sound barrier up that would prevent anyone from hearing her screams except the two of them. There are too many variables here that I wouldn't be able to come up with anything else in time. What good will that do? Sasuke questioned. If the Anbu hurt her, they will intervene and possibly cause the village's destruction, anyway. Naruto said, his nose starting to bleed. I'm having a hard time keeping the barrier in place, so no more questions until it's done. After a good 30 seconds, and painful in Naruto's case, Anko's screams died down and she passed out. Gonta was panting and sat down. Damn, that was one powerful curse. Naruto was instantly right next to him. The look on his face said one word. Explain. That was a shijutsu. One of my own creation, though the idea came from one of my friends. Basically, it can take almost anything harmful and purify it. However, during the process, it also makes anything that would usually heal useless, as they would have no effect. In case you didn't notice, it takes a constant stream of large quantities of Raishi in order to perform. Gonta looked at Haku. Haku, you think you can stop his brain from working for a few minutes? But that would kill him. Haku shouted, causing Sasuke's eyes to widen. There's a reason for this, and it lies in Kurama's seal. Naruto has Raishi imbued into the seal itself. A full death would allow it to manifest in his body, allowing the use of shijutsu. Took me a while to figure it out, but a fake death wouldn't work. Naruto, we'd also need Kurama's help to revive you like that. We have, what? 6 days until the chunin exams. Naruto and Sasuke nodded. Then getting him the ability to use it and then having maybe 400 Kage Bunshin working on 1 or 2 shijutsu, mainly ones that work well with taijutsu and kinjutsu, and working on them until the first portion, then the same amount during the first portion, along with an extra 10 or so for something else regarding it, will help immensely. If I'm correct, the first portion is a written test, but the true goal is information gathering. It usually is. After something like that, it would take at least a month to recover. Haku shouted. He's recovered from chakra exhaustion in one night's rest. Sasuke stated. It would normally take a week to recover from that much exhaustion. He's got more chakra than most would ever believe due to his Jinchuriki status, and even then he's got enough chakra on his own, without the seals, in order to match the Ichibi, if not come close to it. Gonta stated. Most would take a month to be fully recovered from that. Yet for him, about 12 hours of rest would easily do the trick. Haku was surprised at that. So much so, she gaped at Naruto. How could you not explode from that much chakra? Well, the majority of it would be restricted severely, but that's only when they're active. However, even if they're not, I let my body get used to the unrestricted flow, so when I do unseal myself, I don't gain a disadvantage along with the boost. Naruto admitted. If I have too much chakra and not enough control over it, then there is no way I'd be able to do anything with it. Anta got up and covered Anko with her own trench coat. You've taken your first lesson to heart, I see. Of course I did. Naruto said, flatly. That's the second biggest lesson you've ever taught me. He picked up a rock and tossed it behind him. The rock then took down a tree, knocking it over. Haku and Sasuke heard the crash and looked at the fallen tree. Naruto simply thumbed at it. That's the biggest lesson you've ever taught me, and by far the most dangerous. Those two lessons together are the reason I was named the Shadow Fox. No one could ever find out what was used for the killing blow, as there was nothing anyone could ever think was a weapon without thinking out of the ballpark. Don't you mean out of the box? Sasuke questioned. No. Out of the box is still the infield. Heck, that's home plate. Naruto replied. What I'm talking about is past infield, past outfield, the stands, the roof, and then further than that. That's how far out of the human mindset that you need to think in order to find out just how I got rid of my targets. Killing with a blade of grass falls just short of the roof for most. Where is it for you? Sasuke asked, curious. Naruto thought for a moment. Just short of outfield, probably. Where most people would think out of the ballpark, I'd say is more like halfway through outfield for me. He looked at Sasuke. Why do you ask? Any way you can tell me how? A simple lesson in psychology. No two minds function the same way. Naruto replied. That's why I think so differently. I embrace my own mindset and I adapt the situation to my mind instead of my mind to the situation. Many say that takes too long and will get you killed. That's exactly how I survive. Haku looked at him incredulously. You're really considering this? A ninja uses everything he has to accomplish the mission. I can't even access an ability I could, and I'd need to train with it before I apply it in combat, but it's still able to be used outside of real-time combat. And with what's coming, I'd say you could use any advantage you can get. Gonta added. Reishi can only be used by me and the Nibi, among those in the elemental countries. Naruto has it with him, but he can't access it. He needs an actual death. One that would allow the Reishi to duplicate itself and add it to his body. That's why an actual death is needed. Besides, the bastard will not be getting away from this unscathed if he lives to see another day. Pedophilic snake bastard? Naruto asked, earning a nod. If he's coming then that means. It would appear so. But then what about? Can't say anything. No proof. None that is physical. Katoto. Working with the Tanuki. Desert. Most likely. Bodies. Best way. Sasuke and Haku watched them banter back and forth in confusion. What about? I wish we could. Gonta looked towards the northern skies. And if we get? Don't even think about that. Gonta glared at Naruto. That's one thing we can't do for our own safety. Why not? Yondaime did the same thing. Then we should. You really want to go that route? I don't see why not. And lose any secrecy you've got. Do you see any other option? I've got 3 others at the moment. Excuse me? Haku asked, earning both of their attentions. What? Was the simultaneous response. What exactly are you talking about? She asked. They both blinked. I guess we think so much alike that we forgot about the others. Naruto stated. Not to mention they can't read minds. We weren't. We connected our mental frequency. I know. It's virtually the same thing. Gonta pointed out. It is? In a way, yes. Sasuke looked at them. Connecting your mental frequency. Gonta looked at him. Twins do it all the time. It's how they know what the other is feeling. Or thinking. Naruto added. Sasuke and Haku blinked as Anko groaned. This caused all 4 of them to turn to her. What happened? She looked at Gonta. Did it work? Try to access it. The shape is now that of a dragon, not the 3 tomo it was before. What do you mean? She looked at it and saw the dragon-shaped mark. How did you? If I knew, I'd explain it. Reverse of yin-yang is, regrettably, something that I haven't used often. The fact of the matter is, I can't use it so freely. The full effects of it are widely unknown, even to me. All I know is, whatever harmful can become helpful, and helpful becomes neutralized. I haven't used it enough to give an accurate description of what it does, aside from the original intention, which does work. There's a plethora of uses that I can't say whether or not they do work correctly, and even more that I have no idea whether or not they exist. At this point, using it is a gamble, at best. So you have no idea if it worked. I know of a few purification jutsu, but they're labeled kinjutsu because of the effect it tends to have on humans. I'm an exception, being a Jinchuriki, but if Kurama goes, and I survive, unless I become a Hanyu, demon, or devil, and yes there is a difference, then I wouldn't be able to use them, much less survive having it used on me. And you'd use it on her? Haku asked. Not her. The energy she'd be emitting. Naruto stated, before his eyes widened, and he facepalmed. Why didn't I think of that before? Anta looked at him incredulously. So much like me, you don't even realize you have a great plan for something until you say it out loud after the fact, or it comes to you on the spot. Damn, you and I are a little too much alike. Naruto stated. Maybe that's why we can sync our minds so easily. Probably. So, are you sure it will work? If I had an answer, then I'd give it to you. I don't even have the odds to give you. Gonta admitted. It's simply hit or miss. We'll do this tomorrow. Naruto said, causing Haku to whiplash. You can't be serious. She shouted. You're willing to put your life on the line? Sasuke asked, wide-eyed. If it means gaining the power to protect those close to me, then yes. I would. He turned to Haku with a soft look. I'm sorry, Haku, but I have to do this. I know you don't need to be protected, but I want to at least be able to help you out whenever and wherever I can. You're the only one I can ask to do this. Nearly anyone else would just kill me and be done with it. Then I'll get a spot ready in training ground 48. Gonta stated. I'll wait for you there. He turned to Anko. Not a word of this. If he lives, he'll be able to protect the village better. If he dies, at least 80% of this village will be happy and I'll head to the Shinigami and play her in poker for his soul. There is no need. A voice stated, causing Gonta to smirk. You heard the entire thing, didn't you? You do realize you could have asked for the game and I'd give him that if you won. That's a mighty big if. Then why don't we play here and now? Gonta stated. It'll save us the trouble. First, what warranted this decision? You know of Orochimaru, correct? She nodded. He's coming. You tasked me with keeping balance in this world. He's got plans for this village and I'm currently in the process of figuring them out. That's one of the reasons you're here right now. You know the moment he dies, I'm giving his soul to you. I'd need the help anyway. He's the only one that knows the feel of my Reishi and that's because he's been around me often enough. No one else has. Partners to the end. Basically. One game. Best out of 3. That way we can't call it cheating. Deal. A deck of cards appeared in front of the Shinigami. That's not the deck that's usually used for poker, you're switching this up, aren't you? Is there a problem? Anta looked at the deck. Then it hit him like Tsunade's right hook. A duel. Really? So, you aren't game? Hell no. This is one of the ways I unwound way back when. Picture your deck then. Fine by me. Gonta smiled before a thoughtful look crossed his face. Any restrictions? None. Deck building. The usual. Dual discs. 5DS variant. Give me chaos. That's more my speed. Very well. Very soon, the Shinigami shifted form to that of a blonde-haired man with a white jumpsuit. You just had to shift into Jack, didn't you? What? He's hot as hell. Personally, I think you should have gone Aki. Gonta stated before the chaos dual disc appeared on his left arm, deck in place. She's more your speed, if you ask me. Let's get this over with. 8,000 life points. Duel. Was the simultaneous cry. This was an unexpected turn of events. Really, I had no intentions of having the Shinigami actually dueling Gonta, nor did I have any semblance of the fact Gonta would duel in order to keep himself sane. My stories tend to take their own mind while I'm writing them and I only comment on them myself in hindsight. That's my style. Disclaimer. I do not own Naruto. The duel. Shinigami and Gonta were staring at each other, 5D standard dual disc on Shinigami's arm, a chaos dual disc deployed on Gonta's arm. Life points at 8,000. 5 cards in your hand. Gonta stated. Duel. They cried simultaneously. I'll go first. Draw. Gonta shouted as he drew a card. First, I'll set 3 cards face down, 3 cards appeared in front of him. Then I'll activate the field spell, Dragon's Ravine. What does that do? Shinigami asked. Basically, it allows me to discard 1 card from my hand to send a dragon-type monster from my deck to the graveyard. But I won't do that now. Instead, I'll summon Mirage Dragon and end my turn. Gonta stated. My turn? Draw. Shinigami declared. I'll set 3 cards face down and set 1 monster. Turn end. Shinigami said, a little disappointed. I draw. Gonta looked at his hand. Well, this is a little shitty at the moment. Turn end. Draw. Shinigami shouted. I'll set 1 card and end my turn. I draw. Gonta declared. On the sidelines, Naruto was watching with a little interest. Sasuke looked a little annoyed. Haku was just indifferent. Why doesn't he attack? Sasuke questioned. It's probably because of those face downs on Shinigami's field. Naruto stated. Gonta taught me a little about this game. However, this doesn't really make sense. Mirage Dragon's effect would make it so Shinigami can't activate trap cards in the battle phase. What's he after? I think Gonta is trying to go for something else. Haku suggested. Anko was still there, but she remained silent. Her thoughts, however, were different from the others. If this is some kind of elaborate genjutsu, it's obvious those devices on their arms are the cause of it. Gonta added the card to his hand. I'll activate the effect of Dragon's Ravine. By discarding 1 card, I'll send Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon to the graveyard. Big whoop. Shinigami retorted. He wouldn't do that. I'll admit that I don't have much experience here, but he's at least a decade out of practice. Were her thoughts. Now get this. I'm going tribute my Mirage Dragon to summon Light Pulsar Dragon. Gonta declared. Nice try. Shinigami pressed a button. I'm activating my trap card. Bottomless trap hole. Your Light Pulsar Dragon is destroyed and removed from play. I'm afraid I can't let you do that. Gonta then pressed a button himself. I'm going to activate my trap card. Compulsory evacuation device. The card showed itself. I'll be sending my Light Pulsar Dragon to my hand, rendering your bottomless trap hole useless. That was fucked up. Shinigami admitted in her mind. Although, it looks like he hasn't really deteriorated in his skills. Or maybe he has and is just using something that's easy for him to use. Sasuke narrowed his eyes. He did all that to protect the dragon. That and Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon is in his graveyard. Naruto stated, earning the attention of the other 3. If he can get it on the field. I activate Call of the Haunted. Gonta shouted. Like with that. Naruto deadpanned. I guess I saw that coming, somehow. I'll special summon Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon. Oh shit. Naruto stated. Shinigami is in for it now. How so? Anko asked, making everyone wonder if she ever left. You'll see. Naruto replied. Using Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon's effect, I can special summon 1 dragon-type monster from my hand or graveyard per turn. Welcome back. Light Pulsar Dragon. Gonta shouted. Haku saw something else was coming. Light Pulsar Dragon, attack. You just triggered my trap card. Sakuretsu Armor. Light Pulsar Dragon is destroyed. Not so fast. As you activate your Sakuretsu Armor, I'm going to activate my spell card, Mystical Space Typhoon. So which one? My Call of the Haunted, of course. Gonta said with a smirk, confusing the Shinigami. With Call of the Haunted destroyed, Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon is sent to the graveyard. Sakuretsu Armor will still destroy your Light Pulsar Dragon. And that's the beauty of this. Gonta retorted, his smirk never fading. You see, now that Light Pulsar Dragon is destroyed, I can special summon 1 level 5 or higher dark monster from my graveyard. It just so happens that I'll be bringing back my Red Eyes. Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon reappeared on the field. Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon. I activate my trap card. Threatening roar. You can't declare an attack from here on out this turn. Shinigami declared. Gonta snorted. Fine. Turn end. Draw. Please help me out. He looked at the card. I activate the spell card, Meteor of Destruction. You lose 1000 life points. So what? I've still got 7000. Gonta retorted. Shinigami was thinking. He's right. I don't have much that I can use. To think I actually went to his realm and made a deck. They said my deck was complete bullshit, but now I can't draw any of my key cards. I'll set 1 card and end my turn. Draw. I'll activate my Red Eye's Darkness Metal Dragon's effect. I'm summoning Light Pulsar Dragon from my graveyard. Light Pulsar Dragon attack. A beam of light emanates from Light Pulsar Dragon and it hits the face-down monster. You triggered my monster's effect. When Winged Kurobo is destroyed and sent to the graveyard due to a battle, all battle damage this turn is negated. I'm safe, if only for a little bit. I end my turn. Gonta said, a little ticked. I draw. Shinigami held back a growl. Turn end. What's going on? Anko asked. Shinigami is a little pissed at the moment. Naruto stated. I see that. Why? She's a god. She hates losing. And she knows that that's exactly what's happening. And what's more is. Gonta can't tell. Naruto admitted. You sure about that? Sasuke asked. You're not the one that trained under him for years. Naruto retorted, silencing the Uchiha. Anta drew another card. My turn. His voice noted that he was a little bored. I'll activate Darkness Metal's effect. Blue Eyes White Dragon, come to me. Ah, shit. Was the only thing running through the Shinigami's mind. Red Eyes attack. I activate Defense Draw. No battle damage and I get to draw a card. That'll help. Though not much. Light Pulsar Dragon, you're next. Blast him. Shinigami grunted. That's not the end of it. Blue Eyes. A pillar of light shot at the god of death. You know, I expected more from a goddess of death. Shinigami was quiet. Your move. Shinigami drew a card and didn't even say anything. I activate Tribute to the Doomed. Don't bother explaining its effect as I already know it. Yo, Gonta. They heard Naruto's voice. You seem to be forgetting that we have 3 people in the audience that doesn't know its effect. You know it, don't you? Gonta retorted with a raised eyebrow. Basically, when it's activated, the user discards 1 card and destroys 1 monster on the field. Naruto explained. I'll be discarding gift card. Shinigami stated. Get rid of your Light Pulsar Dragon. Naruto sighed. Shinigami is a sore loser, apparently. This earned the others' attention. Think about it. Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon's effect allow Gonta to special summon a monster from his hand or graveyard. If that same Red Eyes is in the graveyard when Light Pulsar is destroyed and sent to the graveyard, Red Eyes will come back. I'll set 1 card and activate the effect of Swift Gaia the Fierce Knight in my hand. Since it's the only card in my hand, I can normal summon it without a tribute. Shinigami was pissed and everyone knew it. Turn end. Draw. Gonta smirked. Apparently, this is the last turn for you. I'm activating my Dragon's Ravine Field spell. With it, I'll discard 1 card from my hand to send 1 dragon-type monster from my deck to the graveyard. And I'll send a Blue Eyes White Dragon. But it won't be in there long. Naruto took that moment to sigh. Unless Shinigami can counter the summon no. Unless she has a Mirror Force, Negate Attack, or Threatening Roar face down, she's screwed. With Red Eyes Darkness Metal Dragon, I'll bring my Blue Eyes that I just sent to the graveyard to the field. Shinigami inwardly cursed. Darkness Metal Dragon attack his knight. Shinigami grunted in pain. Blue Eyes White Dragon, he paused. I'm going to go for a change of words. Blue Eyes. Rape her ass. The beam hit dead on, and the Shinigami, still in the Jack Atlas form, hit her knees. Anta put his hand out to the audience, 2 fingers in a V. That's game. Fine, you win. But next time, you won't be so lucky. Shinigami stated. You wanted Naruto to be able to use Reishi. And I won. I'm a man of my word so to speak. She turned into the form she usually appears in front of mortals. Naruto Uzumaki, you have the blessing of Reishi, now. I'm out. Gonta, we'll duel again. Just because I haven't dueled in nearly 15 years doesn't mean I forgot how to use my favorite deck. And by the way, my deck was labeled my bullshit deck because I can turn nearly any hand into a winning duel. That's what my deck was like. Oh. Just be glad I didn't pull Future Fusion and Swords of Revealing Light on my first turn. You would have lost even quicker. Especially if I drew Diffusion. Ultimate Onage. I actually pulled that off once. Shinigami turned around. If I had only drawn 1 card, you would have lost that duel. Oh? Which one? I had 2 face downs. One was gift card, the other was the Paths of Destiny trap card. If I had drawn 1 particular continuous trap card instead of Tribute to the Doomed, that would have been the end, the moment my turn ended. Which one? Bad reaction to Samachi. Anta paled. Oh shit. No wonder they called it a bullshit deck. Shinigami nodded and then left in a flash. Anyone want to go for duel? Gonta asked. Everyone else hesitated. Not like mine with Shinigami. Naruto eagerly raised his hand. Alright then. He drew Outsider and Naruto drew his Sauba. Let's do this. Naruto said as they both disappeared, reappearing in the center of the clearing, swords locked. Sasuke, Haku and Anko sweat dropped. Hey, anyone up for lunch? Haku asked. As long as it's not ramen or dango. Sasuke stated. Yakisoba? Haku asked. I'm game. Might as well. Anko added. It's not dango, but it's good enough. They walked out of the clearing as Naruto went for another slash at Gonta. Okay, there's the Amik. And this is posted as chapter. Shinigami and Gonta both used a deck. I had agreed before the duel that he would be playing Gonta's deck while I would be playing Shinigami's deck. I had to take notes of every move in order to get everything in order. Meaning, I did not rig that duel like most series owners would. That duel was just as random as an actual real-life duel. Yes, I have a life. No, I'm not going to tell you what it is. No, I won't change my mind, even under the puppy pout. I'm immune to it. Taibi Naruto holding up fingers in a V. What if Naruto hides his skills chunin exam Sasuke bashing, and thanks for watching my video till the end. If you enjoy this content then do consider subscribing to my channel and leave a like if you guys need the next part comment down and thanks for watching the video and see you guys next video.